This episode of An Unexpected Podcast is brought to you by Jim Spano. Thank you. Hello, friends, and welcome to An Unexpected Podcast. I'm Ez.
And I'm Lane.
And we're talking Tolkien.
We're coming to you from the Shire of America, the beautiful state of Ohio, in a little village called Amanda.
This week we'll be covering the breaking of the Fellowship as a part of our journey through Middle-earth.
Yeah.
Now, is that not sad?
That we're journeying through Middle-earth, or
that the
Fellowship is breaking?
They're both, yeah.
It's broken.
It's just kind of crazy. I guess, I mean, like, you know, we've reached, like, the end of...
I know what you mean. I'm messing with you.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, it's crazy.
It's cool. You've got a facade. You're this, you know, awesome, big, strong guy, you know, who's just never cracks.
I think I've cried several times. Almost every episode
it's cool.
At this point.
I just wanted to be emotional.
No, it is. No,
he won't let me.
Well, I think we've been sitting here, you know, adding stuff to the doc and talking about what we want to, you know, discuss in this meeting, and I think that we've been delaying it because we don't want it to happen, Mr. Frodo.
I know.
I don't want to say goodbye.
Well, I
love this is my favorite book.
I know.
So it's hard that way. I love the beginning. It's my favorite film. So it feels like don't go. Just don't go.
I know. I don't even know how to put it into words. You know what I'm saying?
I can tell.
Right? Is it not obvious? Because, like, I think I debated before we started this. Like, it always takes about 15 tries to get into these episodes.
No, one take.
One take. But, yeah, I just didn't know really how...
You're having trouble dealing with your feelings right now.
Something's going on.
Yeah.
So I'm breaking inside. You know?
I've seen it. So. I've seen you break inside.
Anyways.
Let's go to our table of contents real quick before we get too rambly in our quick counsel. We are not much out of the ordinary. We're going to be talking about a little Facebook thread that we're going to be putting up there, a post that will lead to a thread, rather. Gazing in Galadriel's mirror, which will be for an upcoming episode, and an outline of our upcoming schedule as we ride on toward the Two Towers.
Yeah, so pay attention to that if you've wondered what's coming up. We're going to have that detailed with dates and what have you.
Yeah.
So, all right, friend, it's time to jump into the quick counsel here.
Quick counsel.
So,
how are you, man?
You know what? I'm great as always because I'm talking about Lord of the Rings, something I love, I'm passionate about. I love the story. Yep. I was listening to it again on the way down here, after school, and I'm emotional. I mean, like, I just was like,
it's a pretty rough chapter, isn't it?
It's crazy. Like, when they said at the end, I was like, there's got to be more. Hold on. What's going on? And actually,
Rob Inglis did kind of add that on his own, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Because it's not the end.
It's not.
He took some liberties there.
He really did. Yeah.
Tolkien probably would have sued him, if we're honest. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
In this, you know.
Yeah. It's not the end.
Does it actually? I got to flip to the... Doesn't actually say the end.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think he took some liberties there.
All right, good. But anyways, you know, so yeah, I'm. But wait, I'm back to school though, so that's something that you were also back to school here recently.
School.
So
first week back, yeah. How do you feel? You feel good?
By rights, I shouldn't even. I shouldn't even be there. So
that Tuesday feeling.
I don't know who posted that. I know it's coming up, and I'm sorry I jumped the gun.
You did.
Lane's got this all outlined.
Aaron Segura.
Aaron, you're a wonderful
beautiful
person.
Yeah.
Thank you for posting that because
I was dying laughing.
I showed that to my dad. We laughed long and hard about that. Watched it several times.
Yeah, it's just so accurate. It is so accurate.
Yeah, but what else is going on? You know,
I mean, I did a great first week of school. Probably the best first week I've ever had. It's funny, like my first 4 or 5 years of teaching, I was in a different school every year, and this is my third straight year being at Mount Pleasant, which I love. And I honestly feel like I get to go to my job. Not that I have to go to my job. Mm-hmm. I love the school I work at. I love the people I work with. The kids are amazing. I get to go with Goldberry every day. We teach at the same school, which is amazing. Yeah. So, So like, and stuff that I knew I was gonna have to do doesn't feel as like scary or daunting. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I almost feel like it's going too well. You know what I mean? Like, as a teacher, you expect a bunch of things to go wrong. It's going almost too well right now, which is good. I feel comfortable with the whole situation.
In a groove.
The groove,
routine,
man. The groove is nice.
Yeah,
that's what we want. Groove.
we're going to need that in the upcoming season here, as we got a lot going on.
I know.
And I'm excited about it, and it's overwhelming, but like I don't know. I'm just this mixed bag of emotions right now. It's just crazy.
Well, the Fellowship is breaking, Ezra, but there are still pockets that go on. The Fellowship is always in our hearts.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so we're you take that boat out, man. I'm coming after it. I might drown.
Okay.
Or vice versa. Maybe I'm paddling away and you're going to drown and I'll just keep going. But
well, all right. Well, you guys heard it there.
Pull you up. I'll pull you up and we'll debate for a little bit and say, "Oh, I can't go with you. Of course you can. Come on, baby. Oh, it's okay again. And here we come." So we're just a couple hobbits marching Mount Doom.
We are, yeah. So it's exciting, but we actually have to get through the chapter at some point. So
I don't know. Do we?
Can we just linger? Can we linger?
Maybe we could do some ASMR. You want to do some?
Whoa!
No,
that's coming later.
Might be the next poll. Is it creepy or not?
All right. I think it's it for quick counsel, man. I'm ready to. Press on.
Before we do that, I want to do a special thanks to everyone who sent me sleep tips. I don't even remember mentioning. Ez had to jog my memory of when I even brought this up last time we met and talked. I forgot that I mentioned that I have trouble sleeping. Going to sleep has always been a really hard thing for me. So Christine, Yella, and Calais all sent me tips on in their own different ways on how to help me get to sleep. Because I love when I'm finally asleep. I love sleeping. Sure. It's not that. It's like this thing of I'm always afraid the next big thing, big, as soon as I go to sleep, big news is going to happen, or something incredibly important, and I'll be 8 hours behind everybody else. It's weird. Yeah. I don't know. Always been that way. And there's more that goes into it too.
Yeah.
But
is there like a list of things going through your mind, or something, or do you, or when people
sometimes it just won't shut off.
Okay.
Even if I want it to, it's like no, and sometimes it's. If my phone's nearby, and sometimes if there's no phone, it does. I've literally laid in bed and just stared at the ceiling and been like, "Go to sleep, go to sleep." I've even resorted lately to be like counting sheep. Wow, like a little kid, and it's crazy. So it's amazing, and that what a cool thing that you can just mention something, and I see that's on the group all the time.
Yeah.
You mention something, and you have this outpouring of support and help.
Yeah, positivity, kindness, all sorts of good stuff going on there.
I mean, this is really we've said it a million times, but it is a fellowship, this group of friends that we've become. So that meant a lot to me. So I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
Time to drop some Eves with old Samwise Gamgee. Some Amazon TV series news. There's not a whole lot out there. So in the next few weeks, as we do some different kind of episodes, we won't be dropping Eve. So keep an ear out for us. We will as well. Maybe even paying special attention to JD Payne and Patrick McKay. I haven't had time to go look and look up their official Twitters,
right?
But that might be something good. See if they're putting any clues out there. Maybe if they have pages on Facebook or some other online presence that we can kind of be trying to spy and see if they're dropping any nuggets for us.
I mean, what if in their tweets it was like every third
cryptic
letter? Right. You circle it. There's
some sort of elven, dwarvish code or something.
Something there.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, me neither.
So we got to find them first. We got to find them and try and decode their. They're talking about breakfast, and it's really about second breakfast, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Also, Ephraim shared an article that it's up in the group, I believe, just kind of indicating that the show is indeed. Considering and eyeing New Zealand as the location. So they want to try and make that happen if they can.
They should.
I think so too. I think if you want to keep in the visual continuity with the films, you really only can go there. Otherwise, you're going to be flying all over the world. New Zealand's the place you like they've proven you can go there, film, and be in one country and get everything you need. Otherwise, you're going all over creation. And that's the beautiful thing about New Zealand is it's got everything right there. Right. So let's keep our fingers crossed and hope that happens. Tolkien biopic has been, I think, it's in Hollow Earth or down in Antarctica. Yeah,
there's somewhere.
Antarctica. I don't know when it's releasing. I haven't even checked in a while. So we'll see if that ever.
Hold on, wait. Last week I said, though I was just cracked too a little bit there.
Last week. The breaking of Ezra's voice.
Let me sip on a little bit of this here. Yeah. Okay. So last week you said, or no, I said,
Who said?
Who's on first?
What's
that? It might just be like the biggest joke ever, right? But I'm kind of starting to think
elaborate.
It's actually probably out in some small theater, and we just haven't like.
Maybe they're trialing it in like, I don't know, Singapore or something. We just don't know about it.
It's out there.
Like the official, the first. Oh, wow. Okay.
We're
official red carpet.
Talking well.
Premiere is in, I don't know, some small.
Yeah, wouldn't that be hilarious?
That would be pretty good.
We're sitting here like, we're waiting for it to come out.
So, we know that Tolkien has his Lost Tales. Maybe it's a lost film as well.
Yep.
In other corners of Middle Earth, we got an update on the hashtag BBWT, Billy Boyd World Tour.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Heading out somewhere soon.
In the States.
Has it come back from Scott? It has come back from Scott. We talked about that with bearing gifts as well.
Yes. And so by the time that this episode will be posted, it will be in the mail.
Ooh, excellent.
So, yeah, which is fantastic. And I think we're going to send it to the States so we can kind of get it kind of bouncing around,
cool.
Quite a bit. So, because it was just it's such a long thing to go international back and forth. It's get around the States a little bit, and then we'll send it out again to another country.
Awesome.
So
awesome. Special little tidbit about the long expected party coming up, guys. It's only a month away. Pretty exciting. Chase McKinney, we told you before that he was making a kind donation towards the party, and he's actually going to help pay for a banner that's being created. We're going to hope to kind of recreate something that we see in the films for that party. And so when this party, guys, eventually turns into an international Tolkien festival, which we all know it's going to evolve into that, we'll have that there, and it'll be like an original piece from the very first party that will just follow us throughout the ages. Wow. It'll be our banner that we fly high at every one. So
that's freaking great.
And we'll all be there someday. Now, I'm telling you, it's going to happen, guys.
Yeah,
it's very exciting.
We're gonna make it happen. Yep.
So anyway, thank you for that, Chase. That means a lot to us, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah. Now, did you want to go over the second point there, the Facebook thread? Yes, no.
Wait, what?
In other corners? Facebook thread.
Oh, I missed.
Gazing.
I read your line.
It's okay. You steal my lines.
Am I blue or green?
Guys, he writes them, then he takes them from me.
Yikes.
He it's ridiculous. Can I get a word in here?
Butterbar mode. Yeah, so, okay.
Because I think this is worth mentioning, and I think
this is big time, actually, yeah.
Skipping this is basically, we can't. So
by the time you're listening to this, there will be a Facebook thread coming up, or a Facebook thread on the Facebook page, not the group, the page.
Yep.
Okay. And it's going to be called Gazing in Galadriel's Mirror. We are going to be doing an upcoming episode, guys, where literally the entire format for the show, the outline for the show is what you give us. Okay. We want to take this time to reflect back on the book, The Fellowship of the Ring, the first two books, first part, I guess, and of our trilogy. And we want you guys to flood us with your favorite parts. Mm-hmm. It could be from the book. It could also be from the movie. It could be comparing the two. Anything that has to do with the Fellowship of the Ring and our journey so far, post it there, and we're just going to read it. We're going to react to it. We're going to talk about it. It'll be a fun kind of change of pace and format. It'll be a lot of fun to do. So, but it relies on you guys. Even if we have only two of you, we're still going to have the episode.
Yeah, we're still going to.
So it'll be great. We need you.
Really
and we know you'll come through, as you guys always do. So
yeah, all right.
That'll be up. Please, even if it's just something small that can get us talking and relating to
character,
your impressions. Yeah, absolutely.
Favorite character,
Tom Bombadil,
setting,
right?
All
anything,
that good stuff.
We'd love
literary device that was used in the book. I mean, go deep if you want.
Go deep.
Yeah. Okay, and I guess I'll do the green now since we're way out of whack. So we're just a week away from the release of The Fall of Gondolin. Mike Charles, thanks for the heads up on the Alan Lee signed copies for sale.
Did you get one of those?
No, I haven't ordered that yet. No, I don't know if I can. I don't know if they're still.
I don't know if they were either. Mike got one though.
That's crazy.
So maybe we could have him send a picture when that comes in the mail. I'd love to see. Yeah, man, that was I thought I was getting ahead by pre-ordering mine, and then the more I thought about it, I'm like, that's gonna be so valuable someday.
Right. I think you have to order it though from. Yeah, like he kind of shared the link. It's just it's not something that you have to kind of either through the publisher.
Is it from the dark web or?
I don't know where it's. I didn't think it existed, but anywho,
you can read the next one too. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, okay. So let's see. Oh no! I remember I said this one we are.
Yep. Never mind. We got it.
We're going to be good on that one. So yeah, moving on.
Sorry, guys.
Who made this outline?
So I did want to do a quick thing. I like to start doing this because you guys post so much stuff in the group that's amazing. And with school kicking back in, I haven't been able to follow like I like to. It's just been kind of overwhelming getting a start. And yeah, so anyway, go check out the Facebook group. It's amazing. You got Mark Lombardi making lembas bread. You got Yella asking for your Argonath. Phil Seidel connecting history to Middle Earth. He's going to do that weekly.
Yeah,
Matthew Dugan jumping in on the Tolkien versions and sharing his copies. Santeri checking my use of the word husbandry. So thank you for that. Merriam-Webster checking out there. Cody Cross drinking some Dwarven Guinness. Jim SP's masterful map of our own Middle Earth. Aaron Segura giving us a Lord of the Rings back to school shout out and so much more. Like I tell Ezra before every time we get on here and podcast, I'm like, man, I wish I could just literally read the page. He's like, Lane, that's why the page is there, so we don't have to just sit here and read. I'm like, but it's such good stuff. It's such good. He's like, yeah, but that would be really boring. I'm like, yeah, you're right. It would. Well, you can go check it out yourself.
It's an explorer. I mean, you can go and explore it. That's where the cool piece to it, I guess. You know? So I love to just after work sit down and hop in there and see what everybody's saying. You know, because sometimes I only get like the first, you know, 2
and then
or
people
3.
are commenting on it like continually. Oh my gosh, you guys are awesome. So the community you're building it's incredible. It's a marvel to step back and just wonder.
And I got to say too, those of you who are in there, you know, it's neat to see the personalities, right? You've got educators in there, you've got people like, you know, sharing the histories, you've got people with humor, uplifting people, all sorts of different things happening.
And I think the music angle,
that's what makes it great.
It's unbelievable.
Alrighty.
Got a couple polls to review here. Last week we asked on the Great River, who kind of creeped you out more last chapter? Was it Gollum or was it Boromir? Gollum, he won this vote, 64%, and Boromir 36%, 88 votes.
Who'd you vote for?
I voted Boromir.
Me too.
I actually thought especially where we're going in this next chapter, that he was going to win, but Gollum still reigning champ for creepiness. You know, I guess not really surprising.
He spazzed out, so
yeah.
I mean, so that's probably why
he did. I know, kind of muttering to himself and biting his nails. Very, very frightening. And then we had a bonus poll. We said who balloted better. Was it Nimoy or Len Ezra? And 59 of you voted. Poor old Spock only got 19%. I was kind of overwhelmed by this. And we actually got not to toot our own horns, but we got 81%. So, guys, that was a great suggestion. It was so much fun to do. And I actually, you know, I went back and I listened to that just because I didn't hear it. And I was like that. It was just, I listened to Ezra's part like probably 5 times just on repeat. Bilbo Baggins, like it killed me. It killed me.
I don't know what was happening, honestly.
So funny.
And I have to say real quick before you move on, like that whole last episode, guys, if we could do another poll, like what happened to Ez? Was he asleep during the podcast, or was he like, it was so late, and also like you had just done so much research on that chapter, and I really wasn't into it, so I have to apologize because I don't know, man. You know, I just I fell in the water. You know.
Well, and thankfully I threw an oar down. You know, I mean, I don't. And you're saying I did a good job. I don't think I feel like I was kind of drowning too. It is my favorite part of this. Is my favorite part of the movie. It's not my favorite part of the book, but I love this part in the movie. So like, yeah, Amon Hen, Amon Law, the Tind Rock, that whole area is like. I mean, I have a funny story. You know, little sidebar here. But we, when we were in New Zealand, Sarah and I were on the South Island. We tried to get to this location. Because I wanted to. Really? It was like 50 degrees this day. Yeah. And I told Sarah, I'm like, I'm going to risk getting hypothermia. Maybe I wouldn't have gotten hypothermia, but definitely pneumonia.
Sure.
And I'm going to strip down to nothing.
Yep.
And get in that lake. And I'm going to do a little swim in honor of Samwise and almost drown maybe. She was like, Lane, you're nuts. I was like, they don't call me Hurricane Lane for nothing. Okay.
That's right.
And so anyway, we're on our way there. We were going by maps only. We didn't have any GPS or definitely no phone signal or whatever because we didn't bring our phones. Right. So we're going on maps only. And Sarah did a great job of navigating for us everywhere. We missed it by a branch.
What?
So in New Zealand, especially the South Island, like roads are also used for herding your sheep.
Yeah.
All right. So the sheep were herded onto one side, and they had their dirt bikes, and they were riding them, and they had their dogs corralling them. The sheep were going to the right, and we're like, I think we need to go left. We're going left. We needed to go right. So we headed left, missed it. We could see the mountains that were around that area from a distance, and we just never got closer. We kept going further and further away, and I was like, no big deal. I think it probably happened because I think something really bad would have happened if we made it to that lake. But anyway, such a location that I love so much that I wanted to go there, strip down to nothing, get in that water, and risk severe harm.
I mean, we can still go back.
You can always go back. Well, can you?
Yeah,
I don't know. That's a chapter for the appendices.
We'll give it a go. Yeah.
So anyway, I love this. This setting. I think it's just so dramatic with the waterfall and the fall of a character. I mean, it's just there's a lot of the hill of sight, and then the great eye that is revealed to us.
Yeah, and
piercing.
Again,
there's so much play going on.
I'm disappointed. No, you're right. It's amazing. I am just disappointed in myself because I don't feel like I have a good grasp on the lay of the land. And then this helped.
You're
a
such
little
a
bit.
compass man. You're such a compass man.
I'm serious. And so it's just maybe because it's in ruin, and I'm trying to really map it out. Now we had some people in the group really help with that though.
Yeah.
And I got to see some nice visuals there.
Yep.
And I think you provided some today as well for me.
Kurt and Kelly gave us a map. And then I found a little something too that I threw in there for you today.
Okay, cool.
But I understand that. I understand you needing to see that. You're a directional guy. You've got to have the map.
I
should have thought about it last week.
Well, when they're in the
drop
when
the
they're
oar
on
in the
river,
lake.
I guess to me it's like it's got two sides.
Yeah.
What am I seeing here?
Right.
I don't know. I mean it's pretty simple. As I don't know what you don't get about it, but there's an east bank and a west bank.
What am I seeing?
I don't know. I was in a weird place last week. So, all right.
Weird places can be fun.
Yeah.
All right. So our upcoming schedule. You want to go ahead and read this for us?
Yeah, sure. So
now those are release dates there too.
Are they good? Okay.
Yeah, those are Sundays.
So on September 2nd, we will do our Fellowship of the Ring book in review, and that will basically be you and I kind of going over, pulling out some of our big parts, things that we really liked, looking back over the whole book.
We're going to do our top 5 takeaways from the book, from the story, and then we're doing our top 5 takeaways from the journey as a book club.
Yeah, the experience.
Far. Yes.
Yep. Okay.
So it'll be shorter than 3 hours, our normal length, but it'll be fun. It'll be cool. Nice little change of pace and format.
Yeah, and I honestly think you need it. I think it's just sort of a
little breathing time.
Yeah, well, and
we almost drowned after all.
Yeah, true that. Yeah, but thinking back on the whole, both books, and just everything that happened, as Bilbo said, when we came, to Rivendell, like you've got chapters worth of stuff here. Yeah. Yeah, and it's
worthy of reflection, isn't it?
Yeah. So anywho, so that's going to be on 9/2. On September 9th, we have our Fellowship of the Ring book to film.
This will be fun.
Yeah, so I think we're going to kind of compare the two, look at differences, what we liked, what we didn't like, interpretations,
stuff
things
we
like
wish
that.
would have made it into the film that stayed on the book pages, and
right. Yep. So on September 16th, we have our Fellowship of the Ring. Gazing in Galadriel's mirror, time to reflect. You write our script. So really, we're going to get a lot of responses from you. You'll hear us talk about it. You'll have time to think about it. What were your favorite moments, favorite characters, settings, places? If there were any histories we missed, we'll really need your help for that. And,
that'll be those threads to that post that's on Facebook.
We're going to give you a couple weeks too. Yeah. So because we know some people are catching up. We have new listeners all the time, and so it'd be nice to get as many people in that on that thread as possible.
Absolutely.
So, okay. And then we on September 23rd, we are resting in Rivendell. We're going to take that week off. We actually have the party going on, so we have people coming in from different areas. We've got the Dumford is packed.
Man.
It's actually sold out.
Amanda's population is going to double.
Yeah, so pretty radical there. So we'll be resting and taking that week off, and then the following week on September 30th, we will start our reread of the Two Towers.
Yeah, very exciting. So you got some time to kind of catch up or get ahead into the Two Towers and start shifting gears, thinking towards the way our story starts to splinter. Kind of, we have two kind of main groups that we're following as we go ahead.
Well, and honestly, you think about September, it just kind of dawned on me, right?
Yeah.
That time in this story and then in previous stories, and back in the Shire, just I don't know, it's just a nice time to rest and sort of reflect and things. So it works out that it's September, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is kind of perfect.
Yeah. So
pretty cool.
Wow.
Pretty cool, man.
All right.
Time to get into this reread, yeah?
Yeah, I think we're right on time. So
right. Awesome.
We are good to go here. So diving into the reread here, this is chapter 10, The Breaking of the Fellowship, and we have some Facebook responses here, don't we? We have some from the previous chapter, The Great River.
Yes, we do. So we haven't really been putting that that post in there for you to comment on because you guys have been having those conversations anyway.
Yeah, so much in the group.
Yeah. So Luca actually, she went ahead and took the liberty. I really love this that she did this. This is really cool. You guys can do this every week if you like. This is great. She said, since I didn't find an official thread to this week's chapter, I start one here. Personally, I really like this chapter. In fact, I really like all the chapters where nothing big happens. I thought this was an excellent point, Ez. Because I can relate to this because, I love the very first, the happenings in the Shire, the small talk, the rumors of things in the land of the big folk kind of idea. So these smaller adventures are the ones that drag me closer to this world and to the characters. This is how I get them. This is how I get to know them better, see their development. Unfortunately, these small adventures are the ones that you usually cut from the movies. I had the same issue with Harry Potter, where I loved all the little things. Normal school days happened with them in Roxford. I would love to hear more of the boring adventures in Lord of the Rings too. I'm with you. I love it. The long days paddling on the river to see what they're talking about.
Right.
How Gimli talks about his folks, how Legolas tells more about Mirkwood, and Boromir of the battles against Mordor. All this stuff, all the history and details about Middle-earth. I love that. I'm a details guy, so I like that too. And even the usual weekdays of a normal Middle-earth citizen. What do you think of the chapter, The Great River? I mean, I got a question too.
Sure.
This summer we went fishing, right? You're out in the lake. Nature calls.
Yeah.
Got to take a wee.
Yeah, you do.
All right. Fellowship. They're not pulling over every time someone's got to pee. How do you do that in a canoe? How do you do that in these boats?
I don't know. You got to be careful. Those are real,
Is Gimli putting one end over and Legolas is leaning on the other end to balance? I want to. That's real life, man.
That is real life.
They got a cup in there. I mean, what's going on? Do they not have to because of that liquor they're drinking? I don't know. Just the thought that goes through my head. So, what do you think of the chapter? You want to read Jim SP's? We'll kind of trade.
Yeah. So
trade
this
comments.
Is largely my biggest complaint about a lot of literature. He says, and a lot of book to movie translations. The small moments, the less dramatic moments, are what immerse you into the story. They're what attach you to a character, a place, or an event. Yeah. And I get that. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. It's that buy-in. It's that those conversations back in the Shire that just all that indirect characterization, right? That can happen with people talking about either a place or a character or what have you. Yeah. Is really because then you're not being told directly what's happening. You've got to kind of infer. You've got to make this up in your mind. You've got to kind of put these pieces together. And some of it can be conflicting, and then you've got to decide. Those details are super important, and they do often cut it out from the movies.
And I love too how it almost we've talked about this before. It almost makes the story feel. It helps slow time down, I guess. You feel like you can go spend time there if you want those kind of more mundane, slower parts of the story. You know where to go find them. You can spend time there. You can break that down. You can let it linger. I don't know. It's I don't know, like your favorite kind of food. You can take it slow, kind of a thing. Yeah. In the films, they're often so short that you watch them and they're presented a certain way, and it's like, oh, I've seen it once, or it goes by so quickly. It might be just a couple shots, and you watch the movie so many times that you forget it's even in there. Yeah, you know what I mean. So yeah, in the book, it comes through much stronger. So I can totally understand that too. Erin Segura just said she loves this. Steph Lynn said, since this is my first read of the books, I actually enjoy this chapter since they are new to me, as they aren't really in the movies. I really enjoyed the characters at the beginning with Tom and the Old Forest. Although I was excited about them seeing the kings in this one because I love that movie in this scene, or that scene in the movie.
Yeah.
So the Argonath is a big moment. Really, really cool.
Right. Yeah.
Love that.
Oh gosh, something with Nico.
Nico. Yeah.
Same, feeling here. I love these almost, contemplative, chapters where they are. One of the things that I really liked during the reread, thanks to Ezra Lane for bringing us back here on the river. It's just sort of, when you've read something, right, and then we get saturated with those movieisms, and then you come back and you're like, wow, that's refreshing.
You forget, and like we've talked about before, the films are so much. We love them, obviously, right? Most of us, I'm assuming, and they're so much more easy to access. You can throw them on. You can have them on when you're doing something else and multitasking, and those are the ones that kind of stick, unfortunately, more. And then you go back and you reread, and you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot this happened. I forgot that this was a huge part of the story that isn't even a blip in the movie. It's crazy.
Right.
Christine Clement said, I had forgotten how vastly different this part is in the book from the movie. It really is. I mean, they're shot at with the arrows. Honestly, the book version is way better. We don't get all the creepiness with Gollum or the slow descent of Boromir into madness. Yes. In the movie, which I understand needs to be cut down for time, everything kind of just suddenly happens with very little buildup or explanation, right? Or like, with Boromir, it's almost like he comes on really strong from the very beginning, like that he wants the ring. And in the book, it doesn't happen this way. It's a slow thing. It's almost like this moment in this chapter. I mean, we see it. He regrets it immediately. It's almost like he was overcome with temptation, gave in, and he's like, no, right.
A madness took me.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
Yeah, for sure. So it is nice to see, because you want that. I mean, I've appreciated Boromir so much more. I think we had a real big discussion at the start of last week's chapter about him.
Yeah, we did.
And what was going on with Galadriel, all this kind of stuff. So Jessica writes, Luke, I couldn't agree more with you. The less eventful chapters are so cool because we get a lot of information without really realizing Middle-earth history. The lay of the land, deeper insights to certain characters, etc. I think Lane and Ez do an awesome job of analyzing these chapters. Lane did a great job last time.
What does analyze mean? I don't even understand.
Stop at you. Even though it doesn't seem like there's a lot to talk about on the surface level. Jessica, sometimes I think we've even sat down beforehand, and I think having both of us, and this is a part of why we want to do this as a book club, is that there are so many layers that what you see is not what I see.
That's the coolest part about it.
It kind of comes together. So there's that.
And your initial reaction might be, dude, what happened? Nothing happened in this chapter. And then you start talking, and you're like, no, there's a lot of stuff here. It's just subtle. It's packed away. It's hidden. You can get out of it what you want to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So she also mentioned that she liked Luca's Harry Potter comparison here too. One of my favorite Harry Potter movie / books is HalfBlood Prince, because it's the closest look at what a normal year at Hogwarts is for Harry and the other students. So
that's cool.
And I think that's with the show. I'm kind of hoping that we do get some more of that day-to-day life and things.
Let's have a year in the Shire. A whole season in the Shire, where the biggest thing that happens is a pumpkin falls on a Hobbit and kills him.
Yeah,
and the sheriff has to, the old sheriff, he's got to investigate it.
Right.
I mean, I like that,
because the pumpkin didn't just fall.
No,
something's up there.
No, the pumpkin was drowned.
Okay, you're writing that story for us.
Don't go messing around with the water, bro.
Yeah. So all right. Thanks to everyone, and thanks to Luca for doing that.
It was cool.
It's one of those things. I think I would. I'd like to hear whether people want us to keep posting that thread.
Yeah, that's true.
Have that discussion in the group, because we kind of
we're good either way.
Yeah, we are good either way on it, and it just sort of depends, I guess. Yeah. So yeah. Alrighty. Let's move into the summary for this week, the breaking of the Fellowship. So that night, the company had rested on the west bank of the river at the foot of Amon Hen. The next day, they're kind of choosing the path. Trying to figure out where to go, and this to me, I think, is it's huge, right? We're actually sitting down, and we have to decide, and it's laid upon Frodo to decide. He has to figure this out.
Right.
So,
And isn't it interesting? We'll talk about it later, but has he already decided?
Yeah,
great
question. Great question,
yeah.
Actually, yeah.
But it's the coming to it that is the most difficult thing. Like how do I? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get
there next episode, guys.
Shut her down. So he has to decide.
I'm having so much fun, by the way. This is so much fun.
I know.
I love this. Pinch yourself, man.
Still just
pinch
kind of
yourself.
Emotional.
This is a blast.
I know.
Yeah. Sorry.
So, anyways, he has to decide whether to return with Boromir to Gondor to defeat Sauron, or if he's going to actually destroy the ring. Do we? So basically, to me, what it came down to in this chapter is: do we use the ring or do we destroy the ring?
Use it or lose it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially,
I don't know.
Put a ring on it or don't put a ring on it. Whatever. All right. So, anyways, Frodo has to take a moment, though. He has to kind of, he's got to go take a walk. He's got to clear his mind. Mm-hmm. He's got to figure out what to do. So he asks for an hour, goes off by himself. Boromir comes along, catches up with him, has a little chit chat, and I think he'll kind of leave us there because we want to talk more about what happens. But
the madness ensues.
That's what's going on in this chapter.
Yeah.
This premise. So,
good stuff.
Got
such good stuff.
Got a nice picture in here. You've got a couple. At one point, we used to kind of share the docs. I just need to create a folder. For all of our docs. Are they all appropriate, Lane? Yeah, we got
enough. Skip strawberries with cream. I like to type Ez's response in there just to throw them off.
We have some fun with those, but I would like to, because we do put a lot of maps and links and different things into the docs. So maybe we need to get back to sharing those with people on Patreon or just what have you. So
you hear the falls?
I do hear those. Can you hear them?
Oh man, that's gonna put me to sleep.
Yeah,
that's some nice natural nature's white noise. Falls of Rauros. Beautiful. Yeah, which we can hear. We can hear in the distance.
Yeah. So, all right, my friend.
Did you ask me a question?
Did I?
I feel like you're breaking up.
Stop it.
Oh,
stop it.
Punny.
Wow.
Don't do it. Come on.
We're gonna be up all night.
Up all night.
All right, let us move on.
Yeah.
Why
is there lettuce in this chapter?
There's not. I don't know why I said that.
I like it. That's cool.
All right, cool. So yeah,
I like. It's not to slow us down, but the first paragraph I got to read just because it's one of these cool. I haven't done my whole hyper focus where I zone in on a description of Tolkien for a while, where he kind of describes the atmosphere. Aragorn led them to the right arm of the river. Here upon its western side, under the shadow of Tol Brandir, a green lawn ran down the water from the feet of Amon-Hen. Behind it rose the first gentle slopes of a hill clad with trees, and trees marched away westward along the curving shores of the lake. A little spring fell tumbling down and fed the grass. I'd like to go camp there. I mean, that sounds more inviting to me than maybe a bank full of orcs. Right?
Right, yeah. This land still seems pretty... Like it's beautiful still, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's got this ancient beauty to it.
Yeah.
And doesn't seem like the orcs are typically in this area patrolling and doing different things, right? They've had to come out in the air quote open,
right?
Into this area.
Yeah.
I feel like if the ring wasn't here and they weren't here, this would be a place that's pretty chill. You'd have a couple wanderers coming through there, maybe. Some of the men of Rohan would be there. Perhaps.
It's almost like they don't even they're not even bold enough to come to that western bank. You know what I mean? It's almost like I don't know because of the ancient, like it being an ancient border of Gondor and so that history there that maybe they don't dare venture there or just because the river is so wide and it would be I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting, man. Mm-hmm. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Good point.
All right. So our friend Aragorn here, he's having trouble, just like you.
Yeah.
Getting to sleep.
I know, man.
So
WWAD.
Yeah. So I mean, they go over to rest. It's time to kind of they're kind of at the end here and have to decide what to do. But we can take a rest. And I thought, isn't he tossing and turning kind of throughout the night? Right. They talk about Gollum first and just sort of like they're setting the watch, but they hadn't really heard or seen anything.
It's pretty. There's not a whole lot going on. Nothing. No indication of any threat. Which I almost wonder if that makes them more nervous.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah. Because Gollum, what is he doing? If he can't get his hands on that ring, I think they're thinking in their minds he's gonna go right back to these orcs and
Right.
and tell them what's
Right.
up. But I don't think, and I'm sorry, but I don't think that's what. I understand that they've sent Gollum out and he's doing his thing or whatever. I kind of think he's just on his own. I don't think he has a directive necessarily. And I don't think if he showed up to a band of orcs that they would even know.
That's a great point. And maybe those who he is or what he's doing. And maybe they have orders to kind of keep an eye out for him and track him as well as an indicator to. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
He's being used.
It's a good
more,
question.
He's being used more than he would turn to them for aid.
Yeah, he's like a pin on the map that's moving. Yeah, that they're kind of
So I don't know.
Interesting.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
So now let's see.
We use Sting to see if we're alone here.
Oh my gosh, this is so cool.
So cool too.
And it actually made me think. I was starting to kind of try to calculate, in my mind, how many times had Frodo looked at Sting, and is it something that we're going to continue to use going forward? And I didn't remember, that the brightness of it, of its glow, could indicate, how close.
How close.
I mean, I think I kind of knew that, but it's just to hear him actually say that the edges, just the hints of the edges of it were.
It was kind
glowing.
of like flickering or glimmering almost, wasn't it?
Yeah. So not very near, and yet too near, it seems.
Yeah.
So this is
there you go.
Aragorn had gotten up to talk about
the edges gleam dimly in the night. Yeah. So you never think, because you never really see it that way. It's always either on or off blue. You know what I mean? And so to think of just a hint of light on the edges of the blade, that is so cool, dude.
So you had said, so they believe they're on the other side, and this is Almond Law, right? Which would be the other side. Correct?
Yeah,
so
the hill of hearing.
Hearing, right there on the... Dude, that's crazy.
It's cool, isn't it?
And I have a question for you later on when he gets... Yeah, I'll say it.
I don't know if I have answers.
Well, it's sort of, the hill of seeing. You remember at the end here when we get to the point where...
he has a vision, right? Or he sees...
But is it because of where he's at? Is it because he's
a great question.
I don't know. We'll get there.
It might go with my cool connections.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I bet it does. I bet it does.
All right. I'll save it then. So... I hadn't looked ahead. I have not looked ahead.
No,
so
I know. I love it.
know.
I love it. That means we're, the fellowship is still strong.
That's what I'm talking about. All right. So the day came like fire and smoke, low in the east.
Oh, I love this description.
Yeah, there were black bars of cloud-like fumes of great burning.
Yeah.
What's that?
I mean, it's like, I feel like I've seen sunrises like this. It looks like a fire out in the sky, right? And is it also foreshadowing where they're headed? I mean, is it really the sun, or are they getting a glimpse of? I don't know. I mean, they're kind of far to see Mordor. I don't know.
Yeah.
What is it? I mean,
what is it? Yeah.
It's probably just the sun rising and a red sun.
But it's just the fact that they're looking east.
I know.
Ominous.
Yeah.
So the rising sun lit them from beneath with flame and of murky red. Yeah. But soon it climbed above them into a clear sky. So, we're waking up here.
Beautiful descriptions.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Kind of describes Tol Brandir a little more with the steep cliff sides. Okay, so I didn't realize before.
Explain to me. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So in the movie, it's kind of interesting because I was looking at a map in the description from the book versus the film. So in the film, Tol Brandir is the tinned rock. It comes right up in the middle and almost kind of splits the river in half, and there's almost two waterfalls that happen. Well, in the book, it's described more as being more north, so further up the river, and the river goes around it, and then the Falls of Aurora is one waterfall.
It's truly like an island. Like the water does comes back together and
instead
converges.
of like this little I don't even know how to describe it in the film. It's beautiful in the films, but it's just kind of a little bit of a liberty they took. But the reason, I was talking about this before, I never realized that the reason that no living creature had ever set foot on it wasn't because you couldn't get to it. I always figured, you get a boat too close to there, you're doomed. You're going over the waterfall kind of a thing. But it's because even there's a spot that you can go to on the island where it's calm enough to reach Tol Brandir. But even when you get there, it's such a steep, just immediate climb that you can't even. There's nowhere to get footing. You can't make it up. It's like just this spike of stone that rises up from the river. What a cool description.
Yeah, it is.
Almost like a natural tower, if you will.
Yeah.
Just rising right out of the river, like it's been eroded just around this bit over
and
millions
no
of
one's really
years. Yeah.
stepped foot
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. So, all right, so we get that neat description, and then it's when they had eaten, Aragorn called the company together. The day had come at last, the day of choice, which we have long delayed.
Yeah.
They bought some time by going down the river. They've been thinking about things. I think it's interesting that back in Lorien, Celeborn is kind of like hoping that by giving them boats, he can help Aragorn delay his decision, almost like he's the one who's going to decide.
Right.
And really, I think his decision was whether he should be the one to decide or not.
And what do you think do you think Frodo's kind of almost hoping that Aragorn will decide? That it doesn't have to be his choice? Would it have been easier for... I don't know. Because he is so hesitant to... because he knows what he has to do, and it's like just this... How do I get there? Like, how do I get to just doing what I have to do?
Yeah.
Will the others let me leave? Right. Kind of a thing.
Yeah, he's torn. I kind of think for a while now he has thought and known that what he needs to do.
Yeah, I do too. I agree.
So
yeah. Well, especially because he cares so much about his friends, and he knows what that would the danger he would put them in.
Right.
And he talks about that later, that he doesn't. That's his biggest stumbling block. Really, is he doesn't want them to go with him and suffer that fate. He'd rather face it alone. Frodo, you know what, man? Frodo doesn't get enough credit.
Right.
Frodo is a brave Hobbit.
I had a lot of respect for him in this chapter.
Absolutely, dude.
Because I'm on, most people, if the last several episodes, especially back at mini meetings and Council of Elrond, that Bilbo is my fave. I love Bilbo. Like it's the OG, man, the original.
But to stand up to a man who's turning on you, who says, you can tell them I took it by force.
Yeah,
Just give it to me.
Now, okay, so
wow,
right, but.
Sorry.
No, it's
Ezra's like jumping ahead, Lane. Calm down,
man. Whoa. Trying to think how to put this into words here. That's my theme this whole episode, guys. Is how do I use words to tell you what I'm thinking? There's a lot going through Frodo's head, right?
Yeah.
I think he's decided ahead of time what he is going to do, but one bit of wisdom that I see in Frodo, and it might not be right here, it might be coming later, is thinking back on what Gandalf told him. Thinking back on what your mentors, your advisors, people have told you. They're not there anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is a real sort of like applicable, we can apply this. We can see how this would translate sort of into our own lives.
Yeah.
And
even Bilbo too, probably, right?
Yeah.
Wondering what Bilbo would have done in his position.
Yeah, and thinking back to those words of wisdom, and kind of recalling them, what to do here, and he knows what to do, how to do it, how to execute it, is interesting, especially when we get to that. Since you jumped to that conversation with Boromir, like he's heard, he actually asked Boromir to recall what was said to him at the council, and then he starts to diss on, the different races of Middle Earth.
Yeah, that's true.
In a sense, just crazy.
That's true. How they haven't sacrificed what the men of Gondor have. Yeah. Man,
I don't know. And also, you get another. This whole chapter is another example of how the ring can quickly turn the hearts of men.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, Like how long has Boromir been around? He's only seen one glimpse of this ring.
Right.
Up until he's asking to see it again.
Yeah.
That's it.
I know. It is amazing.
And Frodo's been around it for, maybe around it with Bilbo for years, but then also it's been, he's been on this journey with it. It's been on him, touching his chest.
No, and you're right. And that's a theme, wearing it on his neck. That's a theme that we see too, right, is the resiliency of hobbits.
Yeah.
That they're, they're just kind of, what's the word? I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but just their constant goodness, right?
Yeah.
They're, it's just instilled within them. It's just natural. They're so good that they take that much longer to be corrupted.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Good point.
So, especially Frodo, there's something special about him. There's something, he's Baggins, all right?
He's a Baggins.
Something special there. So anyways.
A little tookish, too.
Yeah, true. So the day had come at last, right? What shall now become of our company that has traveled so far in fellowship?
Yeah.
What shall become of it, my friend? Shall we turn west with Boromir and go, to the wars of Gondor, or turn east to the fear and shadow?
Great choice, right?
And here's the thing. You can tell he's thought about it, because I've always thought there's just two choices. No, he says, or shall we break our fellowship and go this way and that way, as each may choose. Yeah. So there's that third option.
And that's always been an option, but it's nothing that... You're right. It doesn't really get consideration. Mm-hmm. There's two, and we forget about this third possibility. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. So basically says we can't stay here long.
Yep. Gotta hurry
the enemy is on the eastern shore. We know, but I have fear that the orcs may already be on this side of the water. And I'm sure he had a moment where he passed along that Sting's been glowing. Yep. And
the edges are
the enemy's near.
Illuminated.
So.
And then again, a long silence. I mean, how often does Tolkien point that out? This whole book, something massive is dropped, and it's like they realize. I mean, they're sitting there thinking, they're collecting their thoughts. This is real time, right? They don't have a line prepared. They're thinking to themselves. They've just heard their leader say, "This is what we got to do. Here are our options, and we don't have much time." And so that would cause you to go inside and say, "Okay, what do I think? Mm-hmm. What's my choice? What?" And then you start going, well, "What do you think Gimli's thinking? What about my Hobbit buddies?"
Yeah.
Like, what are others thinking?
Man, let's think about this silence for a second, because it's respectful. Mm-hmm. It's mature. Mm-hmm. There's also other elements of sort of, and it depends on who you're thinking about.
Yep.
Right? Because maybe there's some fear.
Yeah.
Don't want to speak, don't want to say something that Frodo might not like.
Sure, that's a good point, too.
There's a lot going on with this silence.
Yeah, there is.
And so it's just interesting that it does linger there.
Yep.
And
it is a pregnant pause, for sure.
Honestly, even in my reread, I'm waiting for Frodo to, be the first to speak back up, and he's not. It's actually Aragorn, again, who kind of says...
And you said even, fear of what Frodo might think. Fear of Frodo saying exactly what he knows he has to do. Right? Yeah. How are they going to take this? Are they going to argue? Are they going to insist that they're going with me to the end, which I know they will? It's almost like a problem how faithful they are, right? He's almost kind of wishing, I wish these guys weren't so damn good. I wish that there was a little more conflict and me slipping away wouldn't be a big deal. But for various reasons, they want to hang by his side. They want to go with him.
Yep, you're right. Now, Aragorn finally says, I fear that the burden is laid upon you. Yeah. Says this to Frodo. You are the bearer appointed by the Counsel. And that's such a crazy thing, too, is that, we had foreshadowing of this by Elrond, and he does even tell the other members that nothing's really been, charged to the rest of them.
Yeah, nothing's binding.
Yeah, right. But Frodo is the ring bearer.
Right.
And his task...
He's the only one with no choice, really.
Yeah, his task is to take the ring and destroy it.
Yep.
So...
Man, how alone would you feel? Even though you have this support of your friends, you'd still feel pretty isolated knowing that.
Yeah.
That it can't pass to anyone else.
Yep.
Even though you want it to. I mean, you offered it to Galadriel.
Yep.
Take it, please. I can't do it. Mm-hmm. Crazy. See, it's we've gone maybe a page and all this drama as.
I know, it's great.
All this drama. Wow.
I know. Okay, so let's see here. He goes on to say he's not Gandalf. He can't really advise him.
Yeah.
But let's see. Though I have tried to bear his part, I do not know what design or hope he had for this hour, if indeed he had any. And what do you think? What do you think Gandalf would have said or would have thought in this moment?
Wow, dude.
Here's a question for you.
Holy
Would
cow.
Gandalf have said, Frodo, come with me, you and I are going on our own? I actually don't know if the wizard might have drawn more attention to the ring than, secrecy was a big deal.
Secrecy is the main deal, right?
Yeah, I mean, because imagine Gandalf, had he have been there in the beginning, and he's just laying waste to a couple,
You're right, because he is a beacon.
Right.
He just draws
He loses
attention.
his mark. When he uses his power like that. So
and think about in The Hobbit too, how many times he's with them, he wanders away. He comes back.
Mm-hmm.
He wanders away again. He comes back. Like, he always has these errands and side jobs, and I've always, like, you always wonder, like, they always seem like...
Would he be able to even stick to a task
right
like this and, I don't know, see it...
What was that?
See it through. I don't know.
Did you hear that?
No. Did I throw something?
I mean, no, I think Gollum might be in the room.
Dude,
that was freaky. Up. Or a bat.
I just motioned with my hand like that. I don't know if...
Are you Gandalf?
I think I might have some magical ability. I think I might have made the door creak when I went like that. It looked like I was throwing something. Anyway, sorry. Sorry. All right, you're pulling a me now.
Okay.
I don't know. All right, so speaking of weird noises...
What are we talking about? Gandalf, would he have...
Yeah, what would he have done?
I don't know, dude. Man, I'd have to think about that for a long time.
What would he have done?
I don't know.
I did hear
I'm
that,
sure.
by the way.
Just now?
You heard it too?
Was it my chair?
Okay, maybe that's what it was. I thought I heard something in the other room, but we're good.
See, I think it's in that window. Sorry, guys.
Right,
there
sorry.
might be a bat in here.
Yep.
I don't know. And sometimes Gandalf too. I think he didn't have a plan, but it may have seemed like he had a plan. I don't know.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
Anyway,
sorry, we're a little distracted.
just skipped over that, guys.
A little distracted by some sounds.
10
and things
seconds
going
ahead.
on. Let's see here. So yeah, Frodo did not answer at once. So he's been told basically, you have to make this decision, such as your fate, to take the ring, right, and to be the ring bearer. And he says, he spoke slowly. I know that haste is needed, yet I cannot choose. The burden is heavy. Give me an hour longer, and I will speak. Let me be alone.
Yeah.
Well, there's
Need to buy some
foreshadowing
time
for the end of the chapter. Let me be alone.
Yeah.
So he looks at him, with this kind of pity, and very well, Frodo, son of Drogo, he said, you shall have an hour. And he goes off and he kind of takes a moment and does his thing. He walks away and he's alone with his thoughts.
How nervous would that make you as another member of the Fellowship?
What, to let him walk away like that?
Yeah.
They said to keep within earshot.
Yeah.
So, but still, with the enemy that close,
exactly. I'd be pretty nervous. I mean, you get the reality of that later on in the chapter when they realize that he's, what's kind of happened and he's gone, and they all start, freaking out and going every direction searching for him. I mean, I would be on pins and needles. I'd be thinking like, okay, let's hurry up. Let's not make it an hour. Let's make it 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I don't like you being away.
Right, for sure. So, that was my sock.
On the floor?
On the floor.
Thank God, dude. Okay, I can rest now.
Sorry. I know. I thought a bat was banging on the door earlier.
Wow. Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Let's focus.
So,
My bad.
Yeah, he's wandering aimlessly through the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Well, something Sam notices, right, is that everyone else kind of like is very in control of their gaze when he leaves. They're all kind of like restrained and things, but Boromir's not. He's kind of unhinged, and he's staring him down, following him, seeing in which direction he goes.
Yeah. It's so creepy.
Yeah, I love that there's the illustrations. Some of the illustrations in this book.
Yeah.
Done by
Alan Lee. Yeah.
Fantastic. So if you guys
beautiful.
get a chance to check these out, these are actually really cool.
Beautiful. And in that one, I believe you can see. It's hard to see that Frodo and Boromir are actually in that painting. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. The scenery almost takes over. He does such a good job of hiding characters within his paintings.
Okay.
They're in there. Frodo's making his way up the hill, and Boromir's kind
Oh
of
my
behind. See him?
gosh.
Yep. It's almost like a Where's Waldo with Alan Lee.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Did not see him there
Yep.
in the
You almost
lower
he does paintings almost like with a bird's eye view. Like he puts you in the world. He doesn't necessarily frame things in ways that you'd expect them to be framed or traditionally framed, and they're find those characters. It's
Do you
pretty
know
cool.
what I just realized?
What's
and
that?
I totally forgot about this
Mhm.
because of the movie.
Yeah.
Like the season that they're in.
Yeah, it's February.
Yeah. I
right.
mean, that's crazy.
I know.
So, and it's this dense sort of forest, right?
Yeah.
Lots of knee-high, waist-high sort of like sticks and weeds.
Yeah, and they talk
things,
about the trees
brush.
further up the hill as you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, now we kind of get into it, don't we?
Yep.
Yeah. We have Frodo kind of wandering. He's Well, it describes the area a little bit. He's going aimlessly at first, and then he finds himself just kind of being pulled. We talk about this all the time, how characters have felt pulled in different directions, either willingly or unwillingly or unconsciously. So he's being pulled up the slopes of the hill, almost like he needs to go. He needs to go to that to the seeing seat. For some while he climbed, not caring which way he went, until he came to a grassy place. Rowan trees grew about it, and in the midst was a wide flat stone. The little upland lawn was open upon the east and was filled now with the early sunlight. Frodo halted and looked out over the river far below him to Tol Brandir and the birds wheeling in the great gulf of air between him and the untrodden isle. The voice of Rauris was a mighty roaring mingled with a deep throbbing boom. He sat down upon the stone and cupped his chin to his hands, staring eastwards but seeing little with his eyes. All that had happened since Bilbo left the Shire was passing through his mind, and he recalled and pondered everything that he could remember of Gandalf's words. Time went on, and still he was no nearer to a choice. I think the other thing that's cool about this chapter, too, is you have a lot going on from person to person within the Fellowship, but then inside there's this internal battle between all of them that I think we had more of kind of early on, especially, I mean, if you think back to the earlier chapters, Conspiracy Unmasked, there was a lot of internal stuff Frodo was feeling. Right. And, you know, having to reveal to his friends that he's breaking away. And
That's a good one to take us back to.
He had all that trepidation about revealing, like, hey, I'm not actually moving to Crick Hollow. I'm moving on. And you guys can't come with me, kind of a thing, and how they knew all along. So that they also had things going on internally. It's just crazy. It's nuts, like all the stuff that's going on inside. So we get a glimpse into Frodo here.
Yeah, for sure.
But then knowing from what Boromir says, what's going on inside of him as well.
Sure.
And every member, it's just like they're all in their heads, man. All in their heads.
Yeah. You had just read this, but the voice of Rauros, did I say it?
Yeah.
Was a mighty roaring mingled with a deep throbbing boom. It's almost like Frodo's trying to find his voice, number one, to come back and speak and talk to them about what his plan is, and there's something deeper going on there. It just that line kind of just stuck out to me, like why write that in there? You know what I mean? Very interesting.
Yeah, that's cool connection there.
Okay, so and Gandalf remembering, as I said earlier, his words and thinking back. So he's dwelling on that. He's dwelling on, as you said, what Bilbo has said and shared. That's important coming up here. So suddenly he kind of awakes from his thoughts.
Yeah, he feels like he's being watched. We all know that feeling, right?
Yeah,
we've all been creeped on. And senses that his unfriendly eyes are upon him. But he looks to find Boromir, to his surprise, and his face was smiling and kind.
Yeah.
Which is almost kind of creepy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's unsettling because we know what's going to happen.
Except for, I understand that a madness takes over Boromir.
Right.
But the reason I think that this is so tricky is because you can make, like, some of these arguments that he's making are actually
they're justifiable.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
There's some validity to them. There's something there. They've got some weight. And
so what is Boromir, and what is the ring using Boromir?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Because he makes a point that I was kind of like, from Boromir's point of view, this is interesting to think about. For what he sees is that we're going to let a halfling take the most precious, valuable,
powerful weapon,
whatever, okay, and actually walk it directly back to its owner, right near next to him, okay, and try to destroy it.
Right. And what's
never
the first
left
place?
the Shire.
Yeah. What's the first place that's going to get destroyed? My home.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And like we're just literally leaving this to chance, in a sense that he can make it there, and then once he has to get into Mordor. Yeah. Are you kidding me?
Right.
How?
Right.
There's no hope in that.
Right. And why would you even want to take that course?
And he doesn't know halfling. He doesn't know hobbits. He doesn't know their strength. He doesn't know what they can do, what they can't do.
And he sees weakness in that, and he sees in himself what he knows and he's a valiant, brave, strong warrior.
Right. Yeah. So the options to him are, basically, there's. I guess if you're weighing the odds and you had to place some bets here.
Yeah, sure.
You would probably wager if we didn't know the story, that something, I don't know, like you just wouldn't. I mean, we would bet on Frodo,
right,
but you know what I'm saying. Like I think most people in Middle Earth would do what Boromir does.
Ludicrous. Well,
there might even be a lot of elves and other people who would say the same thing. Like, yeah, that's crazy.
Well, and even Sauron doesn't even
that's the point,
enter his mind, right?
And that's the point,
right? Exactly,
and that's why
it will work.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, and you got to wonder. This is where it's. I mean, you could spend years. Years dissecting this stuff.
People have.
Right. His face was smiling and kind. Is that really genuinely Boromir in that moment, or is that the ring trying to disguise itself, like it's influence in Boromir? I mean, dude, it's so psychological. It's crazy. And he says, he speaks so kindly to him too. In the film, we get a really rushed version. This happens over a few pages. I was afraid for you, Frodo, he said, coming forward. If Aragorn is right and orcs are near, then none of us should wander alone, and you least of all. So much depends on you, and my heart is too heavy. May I stay now and talk for a while, since I have found you? It would comfort me. Where there are so many, all speech becomes a debate without end. But two together may perhaps find wisdom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, so and really good points.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So he's afraid. Frodo's just. I mean, this is the whole idea here. He's afraid that Frodo's going to choose to go across to the Eastern Shore.
He knows his decision too, doesn't he?
And wouldn't he be afraid then? He would have the same fear that he has now, that he would have when he crosses.
Yep.
And when he's on his own, he would fear the orcs are going to take him, and so that's why he's keeping an eye on him. I don't think there's anything. Sure he's following him, and maybe it's a fear less for Frodo's well-being and more that the ring would fall into the wrong hands and things, like that. So he's keeping an eye on this, because he just, So I don't know. Not saying he's doing a bad thing right now. He's just keeping an eye out on stuff. Matter of fact, why didn't Aragorn think of this? Yeah. Who let him? As you said,
are you questioning Aragorn?
I am. Anyway, so and Frodo says, "You are kind. I do not think any speech will help me, though, because he basically has made up his mind, and he says, for I know what for I know what I should do. But I'm afraid of doing it, Boromir. Afraid. Wow. He knows. Yeah. That's it. Done. Right. Done. He knows. Yep. His mind is made up.
Delaying the inevitable. Yep. And then there's a silence again, right? And we hear the falls. It's just so interesting too. I have written on the side on my margin the Great Falls and the Great Fall of Boromir. Mm-hmm. Just that pairing is so interesting.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right? Like we're seeing this, or we're hearing constantly just this water falling from a great height, and we're in a scene where this character is like falling from his grace. Like he's been so true, he's been so brave, he's been he's had his own mind this entire journey, but he's having a falling out.
Yeah.
Right. Like there's a madness, like you said, that is going to overtake him.
Yeah, for sure. I wish he would have approached this a little bit differently, because sometimes I have this sympathy for Boromir. And
you have to.
It's sort of like Frodo has said that his mind is made up, and he kind of continues to convince him, or try to convince him, or try to counsel him. I wish he would have just said, because Frodo's he's heard what Boromir has to say. He's said it openly. Multiple times. Where he stands.
His case is clear.
Mm-hmm. They met back in Lorien. They sat down. They had their little meeting before they went to sleep that night.
Yep.
They continued out on the river and so on. Yep. Celeborn doesn't know. Aragorn doesn't know.
Yeah.
They're all kind of stumped by this.
Yeah.
So he's heard him, and he's made up his mind. I wish he would have phrased it almost like, "Let me speak my piece one more time,
right?
And then you make up your mind." And that's it.
Right.
Lay out your argument and then be done with it and move on. And then that's what it is. But he's past that. He's basically
there's this hold on him
like,
now.
Why won't you listen to my counsel?
Right.
It's like, no, he's heard your counsel. So this is where he starts to really cross over.
It's almost like the ring is using that desperation against him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It senses that that Boromir feels at the end of his rope, and it's there's some whisper in his mind saying no, convince him. Don't just speak your piece. Make him make him decide what you want.
Well, you know
right?
what?
Make him side with you.
So first of all, in defense of Boromir, they're actually having the same discussion back at the group.
Yeah.
Force Frodo to come with us.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
That's true.
Let's just force him, bring him with us.
Yep.
We can't let him go on his own like this and things. I mean, am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, and then the character who stands out there is Sam, because he says, "You guys are morons."
Yeah, exactly.
You know, his mind's made up.
I mean, everyone's trying. They're coming from I think a better place, and it's more of a Frodo's well-being versus
pro Frodo versus
Ring.
Yeah, pro Ring or just at least entertaining that idea of using it as a weapon. Yeah. Man, holy cow, dude.
So Frodo goes on to mention this warning in his heart. He goes, "I know what you would say, Boromir, and it may seem like wisdom, except for this warning in my heart." And we're going to get to there's two forces at play, later on that really work in Frodo and things here in just a bit. So, as you said, this goes on. He's trying to convince him. He says, "Warning, what warning?" He says, "Against delay, against the way that seems easier, against refusal of the burden that is laid upon me, against, well, if it must be said, against trust in the strength and truth of men."
Yeah.
And that, I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know if Frodo actually needed to say that.
He didn't.
I don't think he needed to say that.
No, he didn't.
I think he could have just, it's enough for me to see, and I almost wonder, I'd like to see different versions, and I'd love to see the notes, right? Because when you send it to an editor and they do different things and what have you, I almost kind of wonder if
Tolkien didn't like those notes.
Yeah, I don't.
He didn't like being edited.
No, exactly.
Right.
So I almost wonder sometimes. I'd like to know. I'm sure not much of it was edited because he's brilliant. But
and that's the other thing too, I guess, that we were just talking about the amazing character Frodo is, and how I think sometimes because of the way he's portrayed in the film, he comes off as kind of like more easily influenced than he necessarily is in the book. And I think this maybe the other flip side of this too is this is him not afraid to stand up to Boromir.
Yeah.
Like he's finally come to grips with the fact that this is what he has to do, and he remembers Gandalf's words, and he has some courage in that. And you also got to wonder too, like, is that also, is that his courage or is that the ring?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
There's three characters here,
in
this scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Yeah, but you're right. He didn't have to say that. That would only, obviously flare Boromir up.
Well, and it does, because he says that strength is what has protected you far away in your little country, though you knew it not. And he's got a point, actually.
Yeah, he does.
This is where, thinking back, I think he's speaking more from what he's heard Elrond and Gandalf say about men.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I don't know that he's really... how many men has Frodo interacted with?
Right, but then again, you have Aragorn.
Yeah, I know.
Right,
yeah,
the
exactly.
best example of men too.
Right,
and he knows that full well.
Yeah.
So, and probably because of what Aragorn feels about the ring, that he says that too. Like Aragorn doesn't think that obviously believes that it should be destroyed, that men should have no part of it. That he doesn't want to take the ring to Gondor.
Right. And I just thought of something. I guess what I had just said there also kind of works against. The point I was driving to is that all he really does know are these two examples.
Yeah.
And the one who's not
pretty
a Númenorian, blessed with that, extended life is Boromir.
Yeah.
He knows all he knows is Boromir. He knows, this is his representation of what the race of men are like. Yeah. And
that and Butterbur.
Yeah, true. So
also not real reliable.
Yeah, right. So, anyways, he says that he doesn't doubt the valor of other people, but the world's changing. That basically, it really, Frodo, stick to that delay, man. It's we don't want to delay this. We don't want to take the road that's easiest. They debated that back at the council.
Yeah.
Doing what was easy, putting things off, casting it into the sea.
Yeah. Hiding it somewhere.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Delaying the inevitable.
Right.
And what have you. So, yeah. Anyways.
Wow.
So,
anyway,
the best line here for all of this is no hope while the ring lasts.
Yeah.
Right? So they have to destroy it. In his mind, it's destroy, whereas Boromir is still in this preserve it, use it.
Yeah, great point. And he says, the ring. His eyes lighting. The ring. Is it not a strange fate that we should suffer so much fear and doubt over so small a thing? So small a thing. And I have seen it only for an instant in the house of Elrond. Could I not have a sight of it again? Frodo looked up. His heart went suddenly cold. This is where it kind of turns in. Dude,
Yeah.
it's like
I
it feels
guess
like a
this is
horror
that
film.
Turning point.
Yeah, he caught the strange gleam in Boromir's eyes, yet his face was still kind and friendly. So very interesting. Like thinking about okay, dude, here you go. Again, the motif of the eyes, right? They're on the hill of seeing. Here in a little bit, the eye of Sauron is revealed.
Good call.
The face being very friendly, but it's in the eyes that Frodo feels very uncomfortable.
Everyone else averted their eyes when Boromir stared him down.
Yes, even his indication that Boromir was there was because he felt like someone was looking at him.
Yep.
Unfriendly eyes.
Yep.
Obviously the whole concept, the eyes are, the window into the soul. They're revealing of who you really are. Yeah.
Yep.
Unreal.
Yep. Anyways, it's not going well. Boromir is trying to convince him, but really not working. He kind of even says, so Frodo denies him, a glance at the ring, and he says, "As you wish, I care not."
Yeah. Those lines are taken and put in a different part of the film.
Well, and also they're mentioned earlier in the book too. He says that somewhere else too, sort of like, "You guys make your own decisions, I care not." Acting like he doesn't really care.
Yeah,
but he does.
Defense.
Yeah,
yep.
it's a mannerism, way of speaking.
Yeah.
They talk about the world changing. Minas Tirith will fall if the ring lasts, but why? Certainly, if the ring were with the enemy, then basically Minas Tirith is going to suffer more.
But not if we have it.
But not if we have it. Yeah.
Right.
So he's just again. And then this is where Frodo kind of calls him out and says, "Were you not at the council? We cannot use it. It's not something that we can use." So, I think in Aragorn's mind, it's sort of like we hide it, we gather force, we march in to Mount Doom, and we destroy it.
Right.
We don't use it, but
Right.
can we penetrate, Mordor in a way in which we can cast it into the fire?
Right.
That's what I'm thinking. I
Sure.
hope that's what he's thinking.
Oh yeah.
Whereas Boromir is sort of like he wants to use it, and that
Right.
I don't think that's really what. Do you think that's what crossed Aragorn's mind? I don't think that's what he's debating about. Yeah, I don't think so either.
Nope, I do not.
Okay.
He knows what he has to do. He knows what he has to rise above. Yeah, I don't. I mean, the very fact that Boromir has kind of alluded to this in the past, and it's disgusted Aragorn.
Yeah.
They've had their moments the past few chapters too, where
Yep.
we're not going to Gondor. We're not taking it to Gondor. Yeah. Unless that's what Frodo wants to do. He's always yielded to the ring bearer, and Boromir has always tried to sway him, and at least recently, and influence him.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he's still trying to convince him here, and he says, "Gandalf, Elrond, all these folk have taught you to say so."
Yeah. That's to your point. He's starting to get really impatient here. He's starting to lose his cool.
Well, I think he has it's just laced with some truth.
Yeah.
Because I think that the remark he made about men is directly something that I think he overheard at some point from Elrond and
Right.
Gandalf or whoever,
Yeah.
and things. So having that, I don't know that it explicitly said that, but I just
Right.
kind of have that impression that it's something he might have heard.
Yeah, like he's been they've poisoned his mind against men.
Yeah, and
that
so
idea.
he goes on to say these elves and half elves and wizards, they would come to grief perhaps. Yet often I doubt if they are wise and not merely timid. It's now he's starting to cross. I mean, the first point is good, then the second point is like, well, okay, hold on a second here. But each to his own kind. True-hearted men, they will not be corrupted. We of Minas Tirith have been staunch through the years of trial. Basically saying we've proven ourselves. We do not desire the power of wizard lords. Only strength to defend ourselves. Strength in a just cause. And behold, in our need, chance brings to light the ring of power. And then he goes on to talk about it's a gift. We need to use it against the foes of Mordor. It's mad not to use it. So
It's filled with irony there.
yes, it is the madness, right? It's taking over him. Let's see. What could not Aragorn do? Oh wow! So he's even tossing in his friend Aragorn, saying that they're warriors and that they're great leaders.
A great leader could wield it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if he refuses, why not Boromir?
Yeah.
The ring would give me power of command.
This next part is beautiful too. It's Boromir strode up and down, speaking ever more loudly. Almost he seemed to have forgotten Frodo. He's having this conversation within himself.
Absolutely. Yep.
He started trying to convince Frodo, and now it's like, I mean, and that's what when you're going nuts, that's what happens. He's not even pitching it to Frodo anymore. It's in his own mind. He's rationalizing this. He knows, like the Boromir deep down knows this is wrong. But he's saying, I know myself, though. I know myself. Other people, no, they couldn't handle it. To take it in and try and destroy it, no, that's not going to work. But I could take this. I could use it. Men, wizards and elves, and they have their whatever. They're immortal. They don't understand. We're men. We're all strong. He's going overboard. He's swinging the other way. He's desperately trying to.
I actually kind of like. I mean, it's madness, but it's madness that's bent on a glorious, defeat of the enemy,
Sure.
right? So
yeah,
he drew plans for great alliances, glorious victories to be. He cast down Mordor, and became himself a mighty king, benevolent and wise.
Do you think he's acting this out? Is he like drawing his sword up and like standing on a rock or something?
I think he's completely lost his mind.
Yeah,
he's gone bonkers.
How scared would you be as Frodo? Like, oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah, it would be.
When am I slipping this thing on?
Well,
I'm getting out of here.
As you said, he's not even talking to Frodo anymore.
Yeah,
it's completely started to consume him. So it's sad. It's sad, but it's like I just want to drive home that he's coming from a good place, and logically, this does make sense to him.
It does.
He sees. I think we might have missed it or glanced over it, but like he sort of says, like, if there were a greater chance, if the odds were that we could destroy it, and sure, let's do that.
Yeah. But
in the hands of a halfling, what are the chances?
Right. He's coming from a place of desperation. And we also talked about too how he's always had to play, in Gondor he's the man, right? Yep. He is the man. But this whole time, that's also another thing that's worn on him, is he hasn't been the number one. He hasn't even been the number two. Mm-hmm. And when you're, if you are a strong leader and you're a group where there are other amazing people who can lead too, and you feel kind of looked over, how you start to think, and hold on, I have a lot to offer too. Like, let me speak my piece. He feels like he hasn't been heard. So this is all working with this too, right? This is kind of fueling that madness too. Like, you haven't trusted us. You haven't listened to me. Well, so here's what it's coming to. Mm-hmm. It's almost like in his mind, he's got to be thinking, you guys are making me do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you've pushed me to this. This is the only choice we have. You won't acknowledge it. So I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah.
To save my people and to save Middle-earth, in my mind.
Yeah, exactly. Here he makes another good point. He says, so you say that you are afraid. If it is so, the boldest should pardon you. But is it not really your good sense that revolts?
Man,
and it's sort of like
playing head games with Frodo.
Well, but, I mean, he's trying though. I think he's seeing this halfling, this hobbit is afraid. Mm-hmm. There's no way he's going to make it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like he's trying to say to him, like, that fear that you sense isn't a sign. Isn't that a sign telling you that this is, that you're not going to make it? That the chances are better. To stay with us and things. And finally, he's asked him, then will you come to Minas Tirith? His face is eager, and he says, because Frodo says, my mind is clearer now.
Yeah,
basically.
You've helped me, bud.
Yeah, I'm glad I heard you speak so fully. My mind is clearer now.
We see his eyes again, too, shining, and his face was eager.
Yep.
So there's this glimmer of hope, like, you're going to come. You're going to come with me, right?
Yeah.
Totally misreading Frodo. Blinded. Yeah. There you another play on vision. Like, he's not really seeing. He's blind to the truth.
Right.
And reality.
Yeah. So to kind of speed us to the climax of this chapter, really, he kind of tries to let's just go take a rest. Kind of calms down here, but I think he's still in the madness, and he puts his hand on his shoulder and just wants to guide him back to everyone else. Do you think, Lane? What was if Frodo would have just if he wouldn't have jerked away,
I think.
what do you think would have happened?
I mean, I think it all. I don't know. I mean, because the rest of that sentence is very telling too. He puts his hand on his shoulder in a friendly fashion, but Frodo perceives, like, he feels his hand trembling with suppressed excitement. Right? Mm-hmm. I don't know, dude. He's on the edge of a knife here, and I don't know what he would have done.
Like, was he going to lead him back to everybody else, or was he just going to walk with him for a ways and then grab him, or did he just want that, a couple steps and then? I mean,
who knows, man? Who knows? And that,
because why not just rush him?
Listen, I think that's right, and I think that's why it's scariest. We don't know. We have no idea what he was thinking in that moment. The fact that he was trying to hide his, his level of anxiety and excitement and that energy that's trembling in him that's a pretty bad sign,
for
right?
sure.
I mean,
yep.
His thoughts and his actions aren't really lining up either.
Yeah, but he says,
just like his expression and eyes, those don't match either.
Right.
Yeah.
But he says, I'm a true man.
Right.
You ask him, why are you jerking away? Why are you being so unfriendly? I'm
right.
true.
Yeah.
I'm not a thief, nor tracker. I need your ring, that you now know. But I give you my word that I do not desire to keep it.
Right. Sure.
Will you not at least let me make trial of my plan? Lend me the ring.
Right.
So
if I can't have it, let me borrow it.
Yeah, but I mean, he wasn't gonna take it. At least that's what he said. Anyways, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then once he refuses him, he starts to call him a fool.
Yep.
It angers me, fool, obstinate fool, running willfully to death and ruining our cause. If any mortals have claim to the ring, it's the men of Numenor, not halflings.
Yeah.
So it's not yours, save an unhappy chance, basically referring to Bilbo coming across it with Gollum, and
Yeah.
So
man, crazy.
It might have been mine. It should have been mine.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
Yeah.
So now, okay, all right, you've done it. You've gone and done it, Boromir. Yeah. So, and I think he does.
He tries to. He's just going back. He's manic here. He's going back and forth. He has these moments because then he comes right back in a gentler tone, a softer voice. Come, my friend.
Yeah.
Why not get rid of it? Why not be free of your doubt? This is where it's way more complex here than it is in the film. The film was just this big build up in this rush, and then here, this is where he says, give it to me, and you can blame it on me. You don't have to. You can be free of your burden, which is. Again, like, dude, that is insane. Because that's what the only thing that's the major thing that's been weighing on Frodo. He wants to be rid of this burden. He wishes it had never come to him. He wishes he didn't have to go on this journey. And Boromir's going, give it to me. You don't have to. Like, how did he know that? Mm-hmm. Did he hear Frodo say that? Is it just something he's assumed? Like, that plays right into what Frodo wants. He's being tempted himself.
Yep.
Right. He says, give it to me. You can be free of it. You can blame me. It'll be. My responsibility. You can say I was too strong and took it by force, for I am too strong for you, halfling. So that's that's a veiled threat.
Yes.
That's him going, you can say, because I am.
Right.
Careful there, bud. Yeah. Yeah, I know. We're getting too deep.
Oh my God.
We're getting too deep. We can skim through the other stuff.
All right, cool. I just did I just turned 4 to 5 pages and looked at Lane and went, what? So sorry.
We're getting lost in the madness,
I am
man.
sorry.
We're getting lost in the madness.
It's crazy.
It's got to mirror the chapter, right?
Yeah. So let's just dive into it. He lunges for him, and
goes for him.
And Frodo has to use the ring.
Puts the ring on, disappears.
Yeah, he does. So,
and he calls to him, says, Frodo, come back. A madness took me, but it has passed. Come back. And there was no answer. Frodo did not hear his cries.
He says, what have I done?
Yeah. Yep. He was already far behind, and he's starting to
Right.
Yeah.
So we two things happen here. First, there's this bit with Frodo and the ring on. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, Boromir and his burning eyes. His burning eyes of... Oh, gosh,
I know,
man.
he really went for it here. This is, So while he has the ring on, we get this description. We get a discussion about him going to the summit of Amenhen, and basically he's up there at the top. I think he even climbs up to the ancient chair, right?
Yeah,
and
the seeing seat. Yep.
Yeah, and he actually
or the
sits
seat
there.
of seeing. Yeah.
And this is where I did, unfortunately, this might be a long episode, because something goes on here that I wanted to kind of take a deeper look at. So at first he's up there, he can't see, he can see little, right?
Yeah.
He seemed to be in a world of mist in which there were only shadows.
Yeah.
The ring was upon him. And then here and there, the mist gave way, and he saw many visions, small and clear as if they were under his eyes, upon a table, and yet remote. And so I'm just trying to picture this, right? There was no sound, only bright, living images. The world seemed to have shrunk and fallen silent. He was sitting upon the seat of seeing, upon Amenhen, the hill of the eye of the men of Numenor. Eastward he looked into the wide, uncharted lands, nameless plains and forest unexplored. Northward he looked, and the great river lay like a ribbon beneath him, and the misty mountains stood small and hard as broken teeth.
So cool.
Westward he looked and saw the broad pastures of Rohan, Northak, and the pinnacle of Isengard, like a black spike. Southward he looked, and so can he actually see these things, or is this
That's a great question.
Is this the
Is it enhanced?
the power? Yeah.
Yep. By the location, then also the ring as well.
Because I'm wondering how high up is can he actually really see these things?
Yeah.
So yeah, southward he looked, and below his very feet the great river curled like a toppling wave and plunged over the falls of Rauris into a foaming pit. Yeah. So he's seeing all these different things there, but everywhere he looked,
signs of war
he saw
everywhere.
signs of war.
Mhm.
Yeah. He sees, the misty mountains are crawling like anthills. There's orcs everywhere. Mirkwood, there's this deadly strife of elves and men and fell beasts. Lots of stuff going on here. The
bad stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know. So I was kind of wondering, these are visions, right? Are they visions because he has, would he have seen something? Would something have come to him if he went all the way up and sat at this ancient seat? And is there some power there? And then there's the mixture of the ring perverting it to, or is it just the ring in this place? You know what I'm saying?
I think you have some really good ideas there because, obviously he is on, the hill of the eye. And there's one line that's just giving legs to everything you're saying. There's no sound.
Yeah.
There's no sound because he's not on the hill of hearing.
Oh my gosh.
This is where you see things. It's not where you hear things. So anyway, my cool connection, I'll just go ahead and break it out now, was
oh my gosh.
if he had been on Almond Law in the same situation, if the same thing happened on the Eastern Bank, would this have all been things that he heard and not seen?
Holy smokes.
So I agree with what you're saying. I think it's a combination of everything. I think it's the rush of what just happened. I think it's the ring, and I think it's the purpose of what this location was used for in the ancient days.
Does the island Tolbrander, does it have
No one's ever been on it.
No one's ever been on it, but
I don't know.
If you could get on it, or if there
would you have both?
Would there be?
I don't know.
Spot to, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know, man. That's a great question.
It's probably something in the histories we need to look at.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
Actually. I know. That's the cool depth behind it all, right?
Why didn't I
say that for another
first?
chapter?
So yeah, good. I love that cool connection because I don't know what's happening there.
Yeah.
So
I agree with you though. I think it's
he sees so much here, and I really don't have time to go into all of it. But
he sees the ships of the Harad. He sees the Dark Lord in motion. He's seeing everything. Everything.
Stirith, he's seeing what's happening there.
And his eye is kind of being unwillingly pulled, drawn towards Golgoroth and towards the land of shadow, towards Mordor.
Yeah,
and that the darkness lay darkness lay there under the sun. Fire glowed amid the smoke. Mount Doom was burning, and a great reek rising. Then at last his gaze was held. Wall upon wall, battlement upon battlement, black, immeasurably strong, mountain of iron, gate of steel, tower of adamant. He saw it. Barad-dûr, fortress of Sauron. and all hope left him. And suddenly he felt the eye. So the same sensation, right? He doesn't see it. Interesting. He feels it first. Same thing that happened with Boromir.
Right. Yep.
There was an eye in the dark tower that did not sleep. He knew that it had become aware of his gaze. This part is crazy, dude. Eventually it goes on, he heard himself crying out, never, never, or was it, verily I come to you? He could not tell. Then as a flash from some other point of power that came to his mind, another thought, take it off. Because he feels like this eye is searching for him, and if it's at Almond Law, it's touching there, it's coming to Tol Brandir, and if it sees him, he's gone. And there's nowhere he can hide from it. And then he realizes, you've got the ring on, take it off. Take it off. Wow. Two powers strove in him. For a moment, perfectly balanced between their piercing points, he writhed, tormented. Suddenly he was aware of himself again. Frodo, neither the voice nor the eye, free to choose, and with one remaining instant in which to do so, he took the ring off of his finger.
Wait a second.
Let me hear it. What do you got?
So when the eye's looking for him, it was about to nail him down here, and
this is intense. This is far beyond what the movie.
Oh, I know, it's fantastic.
I mean, this implies that if that eye would have seen him
with
that ring on,
that's what I'm freaking asking.
I mean, do ring wraiths come down?
Almond Law, it touched.
Yep.
So now I just realized that's across the.
Yep, it's moving across the river. Right.
Tol Brandir, it glances upon, and that's when he throws himself from the seat, crouching, covering, so because it's moving in his direction. Did it actually look there? Or I'm guessing it did. He just had to get the ring off before it did.
It was
before
it's almost like area. You almost see like this, like instead of a shadow,
slow
it's this light, this light coming, and it's almost there. And right before he takes that ring off,
I gotcha.
And then it loses all clarity of vision. I mean, it's very interesting.
So he's the one crying out, never, never, or was it verily I come to you. He couldn't tell.
Isn't that interesting? Opposites.
Right.
Yeah. And it's like he's got these two. It's like these two powers pulling on him, right?
One telling him
it's crazy.
Two powers strove in him.
Yeah.
Something that I thought is super small, and I don't know that it matters at all, but this eye doesn't sleep.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking how often our characters need sleep, and how the dreams and visions and things come to Frodo during a time of rest, and
That's a great point.
Things, and how the different characters in the histories were put back to sleep or were sleeping and then awoke, and things. And this is something that doesn't seem right.
Excuse me.
What
sorry.
was
I
that?
turned from the mic and my sneeze is still loud. Also, how often is Frodo losing sleep now?
Yeah.
And how often will he continue to lose sleep? Sleep becomes harder and harder. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Interesting.
So, anyways, let's move on.
Yeah,
there's
sorry.
a lot there. No, it's okay. It's okay.
It's rich.
A black shadow seemed to pass like an arm above him. It missed Amon Hen and groped out west and faded. So he's in the clear, right?
Then it clears. Yep.
He's weary, but now he says to himself aloud, "I will do now what I must."
Yeah.
He said, "This at least is plain. The evil of the ring is already at work, even in the company, and the ring must leave them before it does more harm. I will go alone. Some I cannot trust, and those I can trust are too dear to me. Poor old Sam and Mary, and Pippin, Strider too. His heart yearns for Minas Tirith, and he will be needed there. Now Boromir has fallen into evil. I will go alone at once." So it's time to go alone, right? So he's decided that that's what he has to do. And I don't really like the phrase that now Boromir has fallen into evil. He didn't get to see the remorse there. You know what I mean?
No, you're right.
And
it's an assumption, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's fair for him to say. I guess it's just unfortunate that he didn't get to see, or at least maybe he did. Maybe he did get to see that, and I don't know. It's unfortunate. So, anywho,
he's also probably thinking he was about to kill me too.
Yeah.
So maybe he's not as
right. Maybe he's not as right.
But but for us because we love this, and he did too. I mean, he loved him too. He loved everybody in that fellowship.
Yeah. for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
Okay, so
Tragic.
he says, they're going to be hunting me. I wonder how long I have been away. Hours, I should think. So,
Yeah.
Wow, holy cow, he's been away for quite a bit. Yeah, how long were those visions going on for?
Great
What
question.
was happening? So, he drew out the ring once more, and he puts it on. He vanished and passed down the hill, less than a rustle of the wind.
So your point has got to be the way it is, my man. Because if he puts the ring back on right after he was almost seen in that vision, in that important place on top of Amon Hen, it has to have been a combination of the ring and the location.
Yeah.
Because if he can just put it back on and run through the, and be like invisible.
Right. Yeah. There's it's something with those two locations.
Yeah.
I love that you pointed out that it's just he's seeing these things. And there was no sound.
No sound.
Yeah. Very, very good.
Because all things that you would associate sound to, all those, you saw a lot of groups of people and places within Middle Earth. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. I'm good. What happened? Sorry. Was my eye bugging out?
Guys, every once in a while, Ezra does these looks, and I think he does it to throw me off because I look around and I'm like, is
What's
the
going
world
on?
ending? Am I asleep?
I'm just.
This is what happens when I sleep.
I go into a trance. I'm thinking. I'm like staring into the wall. I'm really just
Such
thinking,
a Gandalf thing to do.
Thinking.
Gosh.
So, anyways, and I don't want to diminish any of what happens back with the rest of the group, but I think for sake of time, they're back there and they're wondering what to do. So they're back by the riverside. They've stayed there, and they're wondering what would Frodo choose to do. Why was he hesitating? All those good things. And Aragorn tells them he's debating which course is most desperate. And well, he may. It is now more hopeless than ever for the company to go east, since we've been tracked by Gollum, and must fear that the secret of our journey is already betrayed. And that's actually that's the real catch, isn't it? What is Gollum going to do? His decisions are really it's almost like the perversion of the ring on Gollum is sort of becomes its own undoing, in a sense, if that makes sense. It did when I said it, anyways. I don't know. So
no. I think the reason I'm like quiet is I'm unpacking that.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to say there is
that's a loaded statement, man. You got to digest that. Give me a second.
Well,
say it again.
Okay,
because I'm slow.
Is the perversion of the ring on Gollum sort of, the way it has perverted his mind and bent, his mind towards in an obsession with the ring itself? Is that actually what ends up undoing the ring in a sense? Ultimately,
it's
because
power.
he could, as Aragorn says here, betray the ring to someone else, but that's not what he wants.
Right.
He doesn't want anybody else to get this thing.
Right.
He wants himself to have it.
Right. And in the end, isn't that what? Yes.
And I think the enemy
jumping way ahead.
I think the enemy thinks that that he would just rather it not be in the hands of the Hobbit. No, he doesn't want anyone else to have it. I mean, it's
okay. And here's a common theme with the enemy as well. He underestimates everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone. He thinks, and I guess kind of in the same way. Here you go, another little parallel. That Boromir underestimates everyone else and overestimates the power of men.
Sure.
And so maybe that is also, he is very prideful. But maybe in that moment where he fell into madness, that was almost a trait of he and Sauron that they shared, that Sauron perverted within him.
Yeah.
Man, wow.
Right. Yep. Okay, so let's move into some of these different characters' thoughts, though, about what they should do.
Yep.
Because I think it's interesting. Legolas speaks
cool.
up here and says that they're grievous is our loss, yet we must make up our minds without his aid. Kind of talking about, are they talking about the loss of Gandalf and Frodo being sort of, he's talking about the loss of Gandalf. We cannot, or why cannot we decide and so help Frodo? Let us call him back and then vote. I should vote for Minas Tirith. Wow. And so should I, said Gimli. We, of course, were only sent to help the bear along the road to go no further than we wished, and none of us is under any oath or command to seek Mount Doom. Wow, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
But he goes on to say, though, that the parting was hard. It was hard for him to leave Lothlorien. And so when
he's been broken up since Lothlorien.
Yeah.
Gimli's been changed.
He is a changed. He is a changed dwarf.
Yes, he is.
When it comes down to it now, it's clear to me that I cannot leave Frodo. So I would choose Minas Tirith, but if he does not, then I will follow him. Which is awesome. Man. So yeah, they think the course is Minas Tirith, but it's up to Frodo. They're going to go with him.
And Legolas says to Sam, I will go with him too.
Right.
How cool that these two characters who were so different when we first met them are like united even in their thoughts and their loyalty. It's pretty cool to see, man. Yeah, pretty cool.
Well, exactly. It's neat to see Aragorn has already devised sort of a if this is the case.
His contingency plan.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, if they decide to go to the Eastern Shore, who should go? Not all of us need to go.
Right.
There's other tasks that need to be completed here.
3 companions that he would have go, right?
Yeah. Yep. And he kind of wants Merry and Pippin to stay out of it.
And that won't do it all.
No.
Not going to happen.
So, and this is the point where I made earlier, that Pippin kind of says that he wants almost to. It would be mad and cruel to let Frodo go to Mordor. Why can't we stop him? We must stop him.
Yeah.
And they're just concerned about their friend. And this is one of those things that's like.
They're almost kind of realizing the reality of what's.
They're going to lose their friend.
Right.
He's going to die if he heads that way. Now he still may survive. He still may complete the quest, but he's a goner in their minds.
Yeah.
And really, they're not concerned about the fate of Middle Earth, just their friend.
Yeah.
And sometimes that I think is
what gets everything through.
It's just this caring for one another.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They don't really care. I don't think Merry and Pippin actually care whether they go to Minas Tirith or not. It's just sort of like, let's preserve each other as long as we can.
Yep. For the Shire, man.
Yeah, for the Shire. Let's arm in arm here. Let's stand together as long as we can.
Yeah.
They're willing to go with him too.
Yeah.
But if they can convince him to stay with them, they're going to.
Right.
It's sort of like that friend who's going to go do something that is not good for them.
Right.
And you take it upon yourself to say, all right, I got to put my foot down.
Right.
I'm sorry. Sedate this guy. He is not getting out of here.
Take his keys.
This guy's done. So, anyways.
And the loyalty. And this is really cool because we've heard from Merry and Pippin, but it's been a while since they've spoken their piece.
Yep.
And it's fitting, we've gone through a lot of different ups
we
and
need
downs,
them here
a lot
in
of
the end.
Yes, yeah, we do. And this started with the hobbits. This fellowship started with the hobbits, and it grew and became this, what it is now because of what they accomplished early on. Frodo wouldn't have made it without Sam, without Merry, without Pippin. They were pivotal. They should have a say. Their thoughts, even if they're, the idea of trying to stop Frodo, which is ridiculous. They should be honored because of their intentions, because of their loyalty and love for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
It's really cool. It's almost like a mini council they're having again. It's almost like Council of Elrond.
Absolutely.
Part 2.
Yeah, it is.
Or 5 or whatever.
So as they're talking, a neat line here that kind of stands out. I don't know if it's Pippin or Merry that says this, but they're talking about how silly Bilbo is. He ought to know that if we can't stop him, we shan't leave him.
Yeah.
And Sam decides to chime in here and really says it's not about hesitating which way to go.
Yeah.
He can really see. He knows the right way to go. He knows the right path.
Yep.
And he knows his master's going to choose it. It's just deciding what to do with this lot, everybody else here. And he starts to speak out against Minas Tirith and turns to Boromir, begging his pardon. He's gone. And at this point they realize he's gone.
Even the respect of Samwise, begging your pardon, even though I'm not really sorry, kind of a thing, is the one is the fact that alerts them to Boromir being gone. It's just funny.
Yeah,
it's just so interesting to me. Yeah.
Right.
And then, oh gosh. Sam says, where's he gone to? He's been a bit queer lately, to my mind. Bringing up some of the things that he's noticed. But Mr. Frodo, he knows he's got to find the cracks of doom if he can, but he's afraid. So just like an insight into how perceptive Sam is of his master. This is stuff that he's seen that Frodo has not gone. He hasn't gone to Sam and said, "I'm really, really scared."
Right.
This is stuff that he's picked up on. He's noticed. He's in sync. He's in sync with Frodo totally. He knows his master.
Well, this is plain. Okay, let me, like, Boromir, I mean, Sam kind of, if you keep reading there, he says, but anyway, he's not in this business.
Yeah.
Boromir is not a part of their business.
Yeah.
Here's why. Because he said from the get-go, he intends to go home. And he goes, no blame to him.
Right.
You know, that's his home. He needs to go back and defend it. He has a job to do there.
Yeah.
But he doesn't count. His opinion in this doesn't count.
Yeah.
Because we agreed to go destroy the ring.
Right.
And so that's been there. I mean, I just think it's perceptive. It's just, I love Sam.
He's the man. He's the man. Is he the truest hero in these stories?
Possibly.
I mean, he's definitely the truest individual. He's pure, man.
Yeah. So, anyways, we go on a bit here,
and Aragorn recognizes it too. Real quick, sorry,
just
because I love him. He says, "I believe you speak more wisely than any of us, Sam. And what shall we do if you prove right?" Right? Yeah.
Pippin, stop him!
Stop him!
Don't let him go!
Stop him! Don't let him go. I wonder, said Aragorn. He is the bearer, and the fate of the burden is on him. He just says, I don't think that's not our place.
Mm-hmm. Right.
There are powers at work here far stronger than us.
Yeah.
Aragorn's saying that.
Right. Yep.
Absolutely.
That's
a big deal.
Yep.
And Gandalf said the same thing. So
he sure did.
Echoing that thought.
Yep. But now they're concerned.
Yeah.
Because he's been gone too long. Pippin makes note of that. Aragorn realizes it as well. And that's when Boromir reappears.
Comes back.
Actually. So they've been talking and sitting there this whole time, and they never noticed he slipped off.
Right.
I mean, whoa,
I know, man.
Okay.
Sneaky.
And he just comes in and he's cast down. They ask if he's seen Frodo. He doesn't really, yes and no. Somewhere up the hill, he's still just torn up inside, I think.
Mm-hmm. A lot of shame.
But he's truthful. He says
he is.
That he grew angry. I grew angry and he left me. He vanished.
And that's what happened. I mean,
that's what happened.
Right.
And he admits that he was angry, and because he wanted, he couldn't convince him to go to Minas Tirith. So there's that.
And then the madness kind of. It kind of spreads to the Fellowship, right? They unless I'm skipping ahead here too much.
No, you're fine.
He says how long it's been since he's seen him, and then Aragorn's trying to he tries to organize everyone to go out and search, and the hobbits kind of freak out, and then Legolas and Gimli run off, and they all start scattering to try and find Frodo.
Well, and if you made the connection back
to order.
A Conspiracy Unmasked, which Frodo had every intention of leaving them behind.
Yeah.
And that's in the back of the hobbits' minds, thinking he's gone and done it.
Yeah.
Let's go find him. They're not waiting.
Right.
They're not waiting for any. Sam just takes off.
Yeah.
And then Boromir's still sitting there, just kind of in this stupor. I think torn with himself. And Aragorn, like when the younger two hobbits take off, he says, "Go protect them.
Yeah.
Get up. It's okay. Get up."
So
what does he say to him exactly? Let's see.
So is this scattering? Is this the moment of the breaking of the Fellowship? Is it when Boromir has his conflict with Frodo? Or is it this is like an actual physical? I mean, if you saw this, you'd see them scattering in every direction.
Yep.
Is this the actual break? It's just interesting. It's probably up for interpretation what the actual breaking is. But I see this and I think, they realize what's going on in this situation, and they're not of one mind anymore. They've been of even if they've had different points of view, they've moved as one this whole time.
Right.
And here they are in a panic, kind of scattered all over the place.
It is something, isn't it? Because had Frodo have returned and sat down,
it would have been
15 minutes after Boromir. And Boromir is feeling guilty and upset with himself and says, "I was wrong for that. I apologize." Yeah. All this things is the Fellowship in its spirit. Is it still there? Is the Fellowship still?
Great question.
Still there in spirit, even though they split physically.
It wouldn't have been fine. Yeah.
But then again, it's a pretty. He tried to take the ring.
I know.
So you can make the case there either way. So, they take off. Sam though, this is just clutch, man. He can't keep up.
Yeah.
Strider's just, bolting through the woods here, and they're taking off in every which way. I love that he says to Boromir, I don't know what part, you've played in this mischief, but help now. Go after those two young hobbits, guard them at the least. Even if you cannot find Frodo, come back to this spot. If you find him or any trace of him, I shall return soon. So he's just urging Boromir to do just that. And I can't wait till we get to that, later on, just sort of his picking up with Boromir. But for now, we have to leave him there. And Sam, though, is just good old Sam, just smart, right? He couldn't keep up with Strider, the Ranger.
Yeah, because he wants to go to the seat at the top of Amon Hen to have a to look.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a Ranger. He needs that vantage point. And then, you're right. Frodo. Sam can't keep up.
He's telling himself to
talking
think.
to himself. Yeah.
Hold on here. Hold on. Wait, what does he say?
We get this throughout, in the future, and we've had it
steady
in the past.
Gamgee.
Yes, I love
steady.
Whoa, Sam Gamgee. I love how he talks to himself, man. It's like it's something my mom does all the time, personal connection, and I also do that too. I love when they actually say like talking to yourself. I mean, it might be a sign of insanity. I don't know, but it's actually a healthy thing to do to a certain extent.
Yeah, actually,
when you talk to yourself like that, you're helping verbalize your thoughts. You're getting out of your head a little bit, and you can sort of speak your way through things. You're looking at me like I'm crazy.
No,
you know what?
No.
Oh, okay, all right.
No, because actually, like literally,
you do the same thing.
Yesterday, one of my students walked in, and she was like,
"Mr.
Kirk, are you okay?" And I was like, "I'm good. I'm good." It was one of my freshmen too, and she was like, "Are you sure? Because I can." Are you sure?
Do
and
you
I'm
need
like,
someone to talk to?
I think she was ready to go get the nurse, and I'm like, I'm just going over the to-do list today. All right.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So sorry.
Yeah.
But I can't believe he's the one who saw this. You know what I mean? Like, I think they're all rushing out just to sort of like, did an orc take him? Is he, is he in peril?
Isn't it interesting too that they, Aragorn was going to the seeing seat to have a look to find him, and it's actually Sam who doesn't make it, who sees what he needs to see.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, right. And basically says, he needs his stuff. Right. He needs a boat to get across because he knows where he's
smart,
going.
Man.
He knows where he's going.
Yeah.
He's not going to stay on this side.
No.
He has to get across.
Yeah.
So he's waiting for all of us to scatter, and he'll go grab a boat, and then he'll be back across the way.
Yep.
And he's invisible right now too.
Right.
So if he vanished, Boromir just told him that. He's safer than all of them right now.
Yeah.
Well, air quotes, safer.
Yeah.
He's going to keep an eye out for him back there at the boats.
Coming, Mr. Frodo. Coming.
Yep. He's got no gear.
As the boat. He sees a boat kind of slip off, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Sliding down the bank all by itself, kind of curious. With a shout, Sam raced across the grass, and the boat slipped into the water. Flung himself from the bank after he called for him, clutching at the departing boat. He missed it by a yard. With a cry and a splash, he fell face downward into deep, swift water. Gurgling, he went under, and the river closed over his curly head. This is amazing how they do this in the film, too. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exclamation of dismay came from the empty boat. Paddles swirled, and the boat put about. Frodo was just in time to grasp Sam by the hair as he came up, bubbling and struggling. Fear was staring in his round brown eyes. So again, keying in on the eyes, that motif we see again and again. Up you come, Sam, my lad, said Frodo. Now take my hand. Save me, Mr. Frodo, gasped Sam. I'm drowned. I can't see your hand. Here it is. Don't pinch, lad. I just love it. I love their back and forth. It's so cool.
Yeah. Takes care of him. Gets him out of there.
Yep. Gets him in. Safely on my way. Safely, said Sam. All alone without me to help you?
I never caught that. He can't see his hand.
Oh, yeah.
I just realized
Oh, my gosh.
He can't see it.
Yeah. Take the ring off.
He still has it on.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
And Frodo can see him, so he's
that's
reaching out his hand,
movieism, dude. That's the movieism.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess it'd be kind of hard to do a two character dramatic scene with one of them being invisible.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so he gets him in the boat, and basically he does take off the ring and decides to let Sam go back and grab his pack, grab his stuff.
You think in the boat, I don't know, I mean, maybe this is just me getting a little crazy. You think in the boat that maybe they were just kind of sitting and talking and thought to themselves, let's make a podcast.
Wow. Did you almost wow.
Oh, no.
This is the latest it's ever come.
That's what she...
What? Yeah.
Do you think? I don't know. They
yeah,
might have done some
we
daydreaming.
I think we should.
They're about to go on an adventure all by themselves, sort of.
Yep.
Let's do the same thing. If we were going to ever start a podcast, what would you... Get the name right? What would you think?
What would we call it? The... What? The Tinned Rock and Roll podcast?
I love it, man. It's so topical to this chapter, Ez. Let me see.
Thank you.
I seat you podcast
Yep.
instead of
yep.
I See You.
Right.
Okay.
The Eyes of Boromir podcast.
Ooh. I don't know if I'd want to listen to that. It might kind of freak me out a little bit.
Yeah.
Plain as a Pikestaff podcast.
Okay. Right. A Russell Wind podcast. Yeah, that's a good one.
How about Second Breakfast? Wow, if I could actually read it. Great name. Second Breakfast podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, that sounds good. Oh boy. The Eru Iluvapod.
Wow.
Right,
I
yeah,
think you nailed it. That's probably going to be the name we go with, man.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
one of these days,
What
let's just table that idea. For
What
now.
happened to mine though? The breaking of the pod. What happened to
Breaking of the pod?
You didn't even put mine in there. Remember at the beginning of the
Is that an idea?
That wasn't.
I like that.
No.
The breaking of the podcast. Okay.
Cool. Whatever.
That's the new title, guys.
That's
Have to
it.
get a new logo made and everything. Jeez.
No. Anywho, so, yeah, but they have to shove off, and where's the line that? Oh, it's such a good line, where he talks about going to Mordor. He said, "But I'm going to Mordor."
Of course you are.
Yeah, and I'm going with you. You know,
right.
in the movie.
Yep. And I'm coming with you.
Yeah.
He says, "Yep."
I know that well enough, Mr. Frodo. Of course you are, and I'm coming with you.
Yep.
Now, Sam, said Frodo, don't hinder me. The others will be coming back any minute. If they catch me here, I shall have to argue and explain, and I shall never have the heart or a chance to get off. But I must go at once. It's the only way. Of course it is, answered Sam. But not alone. I'm coming too. Or neither of us isn't going. I'll knock holes in all the boats first. So.
And then Frodo actually laughs.
Yeah. And
It's been a while.
He's glad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Leave one. We need it. You know, we're going to need it to get across this river. We're not swimming.
Yep.
And so he goes and grabs his stuff and
get some food.
Yeah.
Yep, and they run back. So all my plan is spoilt, said Frodo. It is no good trying to escape you, but I'm glad, Sam. I cannot tell you how glad. Come along. It is plain that we are meant to go together. We will go, and may the others find a safe road. Strider will look after them. I don't suppose we'll ever see them again. We may yet, Mr. Frodo. We may.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Wonderful. Yeah, and they're
make their way up Almond Law and into the Grey Hills of Emyn Muil, and eventually down to the Land of Shadow. Wow.
And that's it. That's all.
The end, as Rob Inglis would say.
That's all she wrote.
The end.
You know.
Yeah. Man.
So.
There aren't any other books, are there?
What do we do? What do we do?
So just imagine the little 11-year-old Lane Smith, 12, whatever I was, watching the titles roll on this film and going, "Wait, that's the end?
What?
It's sort of a ripoff." Looking up to my uncle, going, "So do they make it?" He goes, "Yeah. Well, you'll have to see. There's other stories." I was like, "What?
What?"
And that's the moment my life was changed forever.
Yes. Goodness. All right, my friend. We've already gone over cool connections, so appreciate that. That's actually really awesome. So it is time to dive into Bywater Post.
Bywater Post. Get your specs on. We need to make sure our eyes are sharp, especially after that chapter, right?
Yeah, my goodness, for sure. So
plenty of glare.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is from our friend Darren, who we actually had a chance to run into up at at Potterfest.
Wizardly World.
Yeah. So
Kent.
We wanted to kind of, since it was not that long ago, and we actually ran into him and things, we thought we'd go ahead and read his Tolkien story. He sent it in to us here. It started when I was 5. My great-grandfather came into my room one night before, and read me a book. He looked at me and said, "I have a new book to read to you. It's called The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien." And as he begins to read this book to me, I fell in love with it. Over the next few months, he would read me one chapter a night, and that's awesome. That's cool.
That's really cool.
All of us have those bedtime stories. Things you get. That's just
one more chapter. Come on.
Right. Yeah. And as the story progressed, it sparked, in me this desire to want to read.
So cool.
Over the next couple of years, he read me The Two Towers, Return of the King, and then when I was about 7, I read The Hobbit by myself. Then I decided, and I asked my grandfather if there was any other books, and he got me into the Silmarillion, which is actually pretty fantastic.
Wow.
I read that book and I understood it, and it gave me a better understanding of the trilogy of the Lord of the Rings. I understood why his son gathered that information and put it together. It broke down the understanding of the first stage and the battles that ensued, and the heartbreak and the atrocities. It helped me understand the victories and the downfalls, as well as the turmoil in the Second Age.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and it's very interesting how all that came to be.
Yeah.
As a child, I was so enthralled. It brought me the magic and hope. Magic and hope. I also felt the sadness and despair. However, it also showed me, what a fantasy world could be. The Tolkien books opened up my world, and it allowed me to be who I want to be today, because some of the teachings still stick with me 20-some years later.
Amazing, man. Yeah.
That's something,
It
right?
is, isn't it? Yep.
Yeah, right. It has that effect on you.
Yes, it does.
My advice is to read the Silmarillion, and do not be afraid of the book. It is something that will help piece everything together and shed light on things that were hinted at in the books and the movies.
Yeah. And that last line, I talked to Darren for probably 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was telling him how we were going to start this Histories of Middle Earth, and how I had never read the Silmarillion and always kind of been intimidated by it, which I think most of us have felt either
Absolutely.
prior to reading it and getting into it, or currently still feel. And he just encouraged me. He was really kind. He said, "Man, he said, get into it." He said, "It's great, get into it."
Yeah.
And the way we did it, starting with Beren and Luthien, I think is the best way to do it. It's so connected.
Yeah.
To the stories we're reading, even especially to the Fellowship of the Ring, and it's a really cool gateway in, because then it gets you curious as well. There's enough familiarity, but there's enough curiosity to drive you.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you start with Lord of the Rings, the curiosity that you have is all of these histories.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you jump into Beren and Luthien, you're still curious about things to come and things that have been.
Yeah, and the connection to Aragorn and Arwen,
right.
And Sauron being a villain as well. So yeah, really, really cool. Really cool.
Gotcha. Alrighty, you got the next one?
Got our next one from Mariah. Mariah says, "Hey y'all." I got to do a southern accent for that. Hey y'all.
Hey, now you think that's
hey
does she
y'all.
have to have a southern accent?
No, we say it in Ohio too. How would you say it as?
In my southern accent or
Do your Kentucky Serp.
Hey y'all.
Hey y'all.
That's basically to sound like I was just my own self there.
Hey guys, this is my impression. Hey y'all. Hey y'all, I'm so glad I found this podcast to accompany me through my journey through Middle Earth. I really appreciate you guys and the little insights you have. I was thinking about when I got into Tolkien and realized that his works have been an influence in my life for as long as I can remember. One of my father's favorite things to do was to introduce his daughters to things that he loved. I see a vision of me in the future.
Yep, you and Winnie.
At a young age, he played the animated Lord of the Rings film for us. When I was 10, he bought me The Hobbit and the trilogy. Being the voracious reader that I am, I made sure to read them before the Fellowship of the Ring came out in theaters. My dad took me to every movie, usually the midnight showing. How cool! My love for my Tolkien was instilled in me by my dad, and these books and films hold such wonderful memories. My love for Middle Earth has continued to influence relationships in my life. My husband likes to say he knew I was the one because of how passionately I spoke about the Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter. Yeah, cool connection there. When we were married, I walked down the aisle in beautiful Ohio, born, raised, and still hanging around Wilmington, Ohio. All right, yeah, the Shire, to the concerning Hobbit's theme from the Fellowship soundtrack. Holy cow. Excellent choice. When we had our first child, he was born with several heart defects and required open heart surgery at 4 days old. Jeez. Wow. He was in the hospital for 5 months before he came home, and the only thing that got us through that hospital stay was The Lord of the Rings. We read the books together and then watched the film in our son's hospital room as he healed. He's been hospitalized several times since, and we always watch the films to lighten the stress. Sort of like their own little houses of healing. That's pretty amazing. Yeah. My son now loves Lord of the Rings as well, and at 5 years old has requested to be Sauron for Halloween. That's so cool, man.
That's actually cool.
Wow. Yeah. Not sure if that's a parenting win or fail. Thank you for the amazing podcast and creating a wonderful community. I love having another medium on which to geek out about Tolkien, Mariah. So really cool.
Wish your son all the best.
Yeah, that's amazing. Obviously, another illustration of how these stories can help you through hard times, through trials, personal struggles and pain, and also the connection that it's like, I love when it's passed down.
Yeah,
Passed down from her father to her, and just the way it sews generations together.
Yeah, what's the word I'm looking for? They transform. They take you elsewhere. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to think of a word for it, but like they, you can
Transport
forget.
you?
Yeah, transport.
Transcends?
Yeah, they transport you into like another world, right? It's what it is. It's just it's nice to escape into it.
And in some way, doesn't it almost make? I don't know. It helps put because sometimes life doesn't feel as glorious as it really is, right? And our struggles are, it's hard to express how difficult they are. And in this world of magic and epic fantasy, the reality, that's how reality feels. Mm-hmm. That's how reality feels. Yeah. And it's a great connection.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so moving on, we got a couple actually. So we've got quite a few. This is great. Michael Van Ness actually sent us in one, and we're backlogged, as you guys know, so we're trying to catch up on some of these. It's fantastic.
It's great.
We love reading them, and we're very happy we have so many. So this one dates back just a bit, doesn't it? Hey guys, since we finally made it to Rivendell, well, Michael, thank you.
Let's take another rest.
Right, yeah, let's just take a break here. I thought it would be appropriate to share my Tolkien story with y'all. From kindergarten through 8th grade, I attended a school called, wait for it, Rivendell.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, there's a link down below. Rivendell School in Arlington, Virginia.
What?
Yeah, the name was derived from Tolkien's description of Rivendell in The Hobbit. And here we go. His house was perfect, whether you liked food or sleep or work or storytelling or singing or just sitting and thinking best, or a picture or a pleasant mixture of them all. Evil things did not come into that valley.
Wow, that's so cool, man.
Yeah. So I suppose there was never much chance that I would ever do anything but love Tolkien and Lord of the Rings. I remember the older classes going on field trips to see the movies and how excited I was when I was old enough to go see Return of the King. That's awesome. My dad told me about wearing
here it
Frodo
is.
Lives badges in college in between the two towers and Return of the King books coming out.
How cool is that?
Which is just crazy.
So cool, man.
Crazy. Ever since then, I've been a huge fan from reading and rereading the books to pretending to go on quest with King Elisar. Spoilers. It has been a series in mythology that has always been a source of comfort and peace for me, and the podcast has been a welcome space of rest and peace during a very turbulent time in my life, a real gift to me in difficult times. Wow. That means a lot to us. Yeah. Thank you for saying that. Yeah. I'm very excited to continue listening and participating in the discussion online, although I am taking a hiatus from social media right now. What a wonderful worldwide community to participate in. I look forward to more auditory adventures, future meetups, ? I think so. Absolutely.
Gotta make it happen. We got to go to Rivendell.
We do.
Yeah.
Holy smokes, man. And many more beers in the throat and sniffs of air. Absolutely.
Don't forget
wonderful.
The sniffing.
It's actually great sometimes because the way in which we get drawn back into, just good to reminisce even in our own little adventure that we're having.
Yeah,
so,
it is.
Yours from Pittsburgh. I
love that. Based
Michael
on a
Van
map
Ness.
of Middle Earth, we would be the Entmores or Angmar relative to Amanda. But I like to think that we are more like a Moria or maybe an Isengard.
Okay, yeah.
Pittsburgh, very Moria because of all the. You could drive through mountains, get into the city.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So got a link to a school there. Actually,
check
really
that
neat.
out.
I clicked on it earlier. It's fantastic.
That's
so
awesome. So we have Shona's story. Now, is this the one that we read part of before and didn't read the other part?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
There was a part that was lost in Moria. It was kind of scribbled, or the page was ripped out or stained or something.
Right,
I
stained.
think orcs or goblins got to it.
Yeah.
Maybe a Balrog kind of farted on it. Not really sure.
Yeah.
So here it is in its entirety. Shona writes, I just wanted to thank you again for the awesome community you guys have brought together with an unexpected pod. Lord of the Rings have always had a special place for me since I was first introduced to them. I know I sent you guys a short version of my story a little while back, as I did not want to ramble on and bore anyone. That's not possible.
Nope.
Not at all. So we don't ever want you to feel that way, okay? But then, as I've continued to listen, others have shared their longer stories, so here's a bit more of mine. Good.
Yeah.
I grew up in a very literary family, and one of my fondest memories is of my mom constantly reading to my brothers and I when we were little. We also made frequent visits to the local library, and she would bring one to two old milk crates, set them on the table in the middle of the children's area, and we would just fill them with books to bring home. Wow.
Yeah.
Is that heaven for you, Ez?
It's fantastic.
Yeah. We were very upset when we moved to the new library. We were very upset when we moved, and the new library had a 10-book checkout limit. Yeah, it's, libraries really shouldn't be able to do that.
You're trying to limit the amount of knowledge we're taking in?
No kidding. Like, libraries are running out of books? I don't think so. I also was never grounded growing up, but would be restricted from going to the library for a week. It was torture for me. Wow, that's amazing. Wow. When I was in 6th grade, my mom was my teacher at the school I was attending. That's really cool. Every afternoon, she would read to the class after recess. When she began reading The Lord of the Rings, we were all entranced and frequently tried to push her to read more. Do you remember those books that your teachers would read that you loved?
Yeah.
And you would try, and every once in a while, they'd read an extra chapter, like on a Friday.
Right.
We left poor Frodo and Sam on quite some cliffhangers. Then once the movie started coming out, I was hooked. My family might say obsessed, but I did and still do love them. As each one would come out on VHS, winky face, regular and extended, I would come home from school and find copies that my mom had bought for me on my pillow. Wow, that is so cool. Now, that's like, if the Tooth Fairy was really playing ball, that's what the Tooth Fairy would do. Mm-hmm. I also still have my Lord of the Rings Trivial Pursuit board game. Holy cow. Which whenever played, my family would place additional rules on me so I didn't win in 5 turns. They eventually refused to play with me anymore. So if either of you ever have a hankering to play,
oh boy!
Even over the years, my love for these stories has not dwindled in the least. At times, it was definitely an escape and refuge when I didn't always understand what was going on in my world around me. Yeah, I think we can all relate to that. So thank you again for getting me back into these. It's nice to have someone to journey with. It sure is. We've got a beautiful fellowship. You guys and the rest of the group make me stop and think, ponder, and laugh out loud. Also just joined up with you guys on Patreon. So glad to be able to give back somehow. Well, we appreciate it so much. Yeah. Keep it going. Don't know what I'm going to do when I finally get caught up, and I'll have to wait for new episodes to come out. Just finished episode 12 today. I have an hour commute to work every day, so don't apologize for the long episodes. They're great. That's kind of been a recurring theme, isn't it?
Yeah.
So sorry for rambling, but just wanted you to know how much you're appreciated. Well, thank you very much, Shona.
Boy, rambling is always allowed.
We definitely feel appreciated. Yeah, that's right.
Episodes.
Butterburrs are welcome in all shapes and forms. Right?
Yeah, I that's neat. I mean,
that's really cool.
I don't know. There's just something, whether you were a good reader or not a good reader, what have you, doesn't really seem. These books just sort of have a magic, don't they? That they just sort of there's a draw. There's a power to them, right?
Yep.
So
it is interesting. They're so fantastical, but they're so realistic at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's. I don't know, just thrived and become this incredible, transforming, phenomenon that it is. Mm-hmm. Right. These stories are both. It's incredible.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Well, so thanks, everyone who's sent in their, their origin story, Bywater Post story. We appreciate that, and we've got. Honestly, I was gonna see if I have it still up here. I was gonna do kind of a
10 or 15 more.
No, not today. Well, I'd love to. But
how many do we have? Is that
what I was like, you want to do 10 to 15 more right now?
We've got to be like on our last couple minutes, right?
What is wrong with you? No, we've got Jennifer, Susie, Charles, Richard. We've got Jessica, Katie. We've got so many more.
Is there an Urza Crick in there?
Fantastic. There's a Urza's in there. So
awesome. That's so cool, guys.
So make sure you send those to anunexpectedpod@gmail.com, and we'll read those on the show. And it doesn't matter how far back they are. We want them to come to the Gmail. Yeah. We have a folder where we're keeping track of everything.
At the conclusion of this Fellowship of the Ring, I'm just going to go out and say it. That is my favorite portion we do every week. That is my favorite segment. That is my favorite part of this of this book club and this journey is getting to hear your stories. So if you want to keep making our week every week, keep sending those in, please, because it's the best. It really is.
Yep.
How about some strawberries with cream, my friend?
Yeah, let's do it.
Breaking up is hard to do. If you had to choose a member of the Fellowship to die or go on without or lose on your quest, Ezra, who would it be and why? You can't choose Boromir. So the remaining, 7?
Who would you choose? To go without or lose?
Yeah, you got to lose them. They're dead. They can't go on. You guys are breaking up. All right.
So you mean at this point,
kind of pulling a Boromir?
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah,
Gandalf, Boromir are out.
Yeah,
can't choose those.
No, you got to pick the rest. Love the rest.
By rights, we shouldn't even be here.
And then I want you to do a flip it on the head. Who would you take with you?
Okay. Well, so basically, though, I'm Frodo. I have to be Frodo.
You are Frodo in this situation. Yeah.
Okay.
So stroke your hairy feet. Listen to some ASMR.
Does someone have to die? What's wrong with you?
I mean, maybe.
What sick and twisted
I gave you options: die, go on without, lose on your quest.
Okay. Go on without, and I can only choose one. Sorry, I just want to get. I want to get it straight.
Yes, you can only.
I can only choose one.
Okay. Choose one.
I would probably go on without Legolas. What? Can't believe I said
wow, dude. So like Legolas could die and you'd be like, all right, guys, let's keep going. Wow. Okay, who are you taking with you? Sam, right?
Well, yeah, I think that's obvious. I thought we'd pick somebody besides Sam, though. If you couldn't pick Sam.
Well, I know who I wouldn't pick Sam first.
You wouldn't pick, if you're Frodo?
Hell no.
And you need somebody to go with you?
You know who I am, dog? You know who I'm picking?
I know who you are.
I'm taking Strider, my man Aragorn, King Elisar. He's coming right with me. Whether he wants to or not, because we're going to hang. We're going to smoke some pipe. Yep. We're going to drink some marsh water. Okay. And we're going to whip out Elendil. And I'm sorry, not Elendil. Yeah, he's dead. We're going to whip out Andariel. And we're slaying some orcs.
I get you.
I don't care if the Great Eye is looking right at us.
Hey.
It's me and my homie.
Yeah.
WWAD.
Here's the thing. Huh? Who would you leave behind?
Who would I leave behind?
Try to get out. You tried to get out of it, didn't you? Try to get out of your own question.
No, I was trying to cut off. So you would go with you'd take Sam with you?
You finished first.
Okay. Who could I do without?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it. The book version is amazing, but the film version, he's great. He's great.
Sure.
But he's too much of just a laugh all the time. Gimli can die.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. That's fine with me. It's not fine with me, but if someone's going to die...
I can't believe you.
I love John Rhys Davies.
Okay.
I do. But yeah, you know what? Dwarves, they're great. They're cool. They're awesome. I love Dwalin. Big fan of Dane Ironfoot.
Gotcha.
But, hey, I'm not losing any of my Hobbit buddies.
No,
definitely not losing Aragorn because he's coming with me. And Legolas, I don't know, dude. I love Legolas. I think that he's pretty powerful. I can't
believe you didn't choose Sam to go with you. I'm choosing Sam to go with me. So
cop out,
no brainer. Now, if I couldn't choose Sam, I think I would take
Merry. You'd take Merry.
I might take Merry. Yeah. I like Merry a lot.
You wouldn't pick Pippin. Wow.
No, actually, I was about to say Pippin, but I don't think I can really decide.
Well, you should have been so influenced. That's not what Frodo would do. Clearly. Okay. Time to share the load?
Time to share the load.
Yeah, boy.
So, hey, friends, this is where we appreciate, everyone who has supported us already. Kind of in shock,
Blown away, honestly.
We do have goals, that we want to get to. We want to go to more cons. We want to do more interviews. This is like a dream, right? One of our dreams is to track down the Fellowship.
One by one,
put a mic in front of them and just.
I know we gotta get Billy on the horn.
We got to. We're gonna work on that. So when you guys support the podcast, that's huge. We have on there for you guys some rewards. Just different things that we provide, like an exclusive monthly podcast.
Yes.
Which could be several things. It could be the appendices. It could be the travel pod. It could be No Rush, which is
No Rush
Hour. Very, very, very
probably our
time.
most dangerous recording.
Probably is. bunch of other different types of Hobbit's Guide Home. We're doing some histories there. So we have fun with that. And actually, I think this month we're going to have, I think we've uploaded, as of this posting, we will have uploaded 3 different exclusive podcasts to that. And so that's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it has.
And part of why we've done that is because of my goof with the T-shirts. And the whatever,
you're harder on yourself than Gandalf is, my friend.
Anyways, if
it's
you've
not a big deal. It's gonna be worth the wait. I mean, we apologize for it, but it'll be worth it.
It will.
You're gonna have a great T-shirt.
It will. And honestly, twice a year we're hitting you guys up with the packages. Yep. So we've got a package coming to you guys who are at the Elf tier, which is pretty neat, I think, and has some cool stuff in it. So we're excited about that. Yeah. And we'll do that again around Christmas time too. So you definitely want to jump in.
Jive in with us.
It's 1:30 in the morning.
Jive in with us,
Why
y'all.
do we start so late?
Do the hand jive. I don't know what that is.
Anyways, so you can check us out there at patreon.com/UpTalkingTolkien and get all the goodness there. We may, I've been pitching the idea that beforehand, I mean, again, we started here at like 11 o'clock on a Friday. We typically record on Fridays. Yep. At some point, we would post a link in our Patreon and we would be live. Yeah. We would do these episodes live, which is very scary. Lane is very worried about it.
I take a lot of bathroom breaks,
He did this episode. I would challenge you to see if you can let me know which minute it was, and perhaps maybe I will send
a goodie.
The first person to reply and figure out when we took a break this
challenge
episode.
At the end. All right.
We will send you something.
Okay. So, challenging of the fellowship. I like that.
We might as well do that before we go live. Then
we could take something out of the Weta Lucky Dip box.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, we could. Yes, we could.
So that would be fun. But I would love to do a Discord. It would be kind of like our Friday hangout. You'd get to listen to the pre-show.
Are you Melkor?
And then the post-show. Wow. We've got
pretty good, huh?
That was good. We've got Gabbing with Goldberry, where we kind of sit in the kitchen, sit in the living room, and talk about various things. We talked about what were we talking about today? The mediums. Mediums.
Oh my gosh!
We were speaking to the dead. We were
trying to figure out which ones were legit and which ones were, might have been a little vague.
It was just fun stuff. You never know what never know.
That's a chapter in the appendices for sure.
You never know what Goldberry is going to talk to us about. ASMR.
Didn't you bring it up?
Did I?
I think you did.
Well, she talked to me about it.
She's amazing.
It made my night. Yeah. So there's that. You don't want to miss out on Gabbing with Goldberry, which is coming soon. So jump in there. But that's it. Save it for the end of the show because it's just an extra way to help and support us. And before we sign off here, we want to thank everyone for over like 100 reviews on iTunes. Mm-hmm. And, you guys have given us good feedback. We're happy to hear that you enjoy the show thus far.
Tons of reviews on Facebook too.
It's all downhill from here.
Right. Literally, we're riding horses a lot, so we got to.
But you guys, I want you to know that like we really, really, really appreciate that. If you don't want to do Patreon or what have you, and like the review on iTunes. It boosts the podcast. It gets it out there to more people. More people can join our book club, and it just means a lot to us because you guys have said some nice things in there.
Really.
And there's some critiques that we've taken and adjust the show. But for the most part, we do this because we love it and we have a good time, and we don't mind rambling. We were born rambling men.
We might hire an editor one of these days. Cut us down,
right? Yeah,
but then all the fun would be out of it.
Never,
never an editor, never.
Well, but anyway, so if you've been listening for a while too, and you haven't jumped onto the Facebook group and you haven't engaged with people, don't be afraid to do that. We have such a really good community, a positive group of people. It doesn't matter when you come in.
Yeah.
If this episode, if you're just coming in and it's been posted for half a year and you think, well, I don't know if it's time for me it is time. It's time for you to hop in there and talk with folks and share things that you've learned because
is never late.
No, they never are. Right?
Nor are they early.
No. I think somebody said in the Bywater Post that it's something that's been affecting them, maybe it was Darren, for over 20 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something we can always kind of keep coming back to. So we're not going away. We're going to be talking to you about Tolkien for years to come.
Yeah.
And we would love to have you in there talking with us. And if you can provide a review, cool. Yeah. If you can just provide a comment on something in Facebook, if you're not into social media,
email us your Tolkien story.
Yeah, email us your story. Just listen and enjoy. Go read the stories. Yeah. And have a good time. Yeah. So there's that. All right, my friend.
Well said. I can't really volley that one, man. Sorry, that was all your goodness. Well, I'm not really sorry. Weekly well wishes, formerly fortnight farewells. We want to thank you for stepping off the boat onto dry land with us. Our next episode will be taking a minute to reflect upon the Fellowship of the Ring, books 1 and 2 as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. If you like our podcast, don't forget to subscribe, like us, write a review, leave a comment, send us Shadowfax.
We'll see you in a fortnight. Hobbit fortnight, that is. And remember, Frodo lives.
And so does Boromir at this point,
right,
too. So
he will die.
Lives.
Right.
But as far as still alive. Go sleep.